crazy how good battery tech is now. Like how amazing it is now. When I was a kid, you'd get a flashlight or something like that. You turn it on, D batteries go out after just a little bit of time. Now you've got like, whoop. Yeah, yeah. And now they've got USB-C in these things and everything. Sup, everybody? This is Carrick with ACG, and I'm here with Silver and Johnny for the Best Gaming Podcast number 592, almost to number 600. We appreciate anybody who's been here for the last two, but if you've been here for the last 600 or 650, if you count all the ones we've missed, appreciate you more. Honestly. Yeah, more. Yeah, better person. Objectively more. Anyway, we've got a bunch. Was that somebody's doorbell? Was that my doorbell? Oh, dude, that was crazy. I thought it was my doorbell going off. We've got some stuff to talk about, though. Fable was delayed. And, of course, we've talked about it in the last couple of weeks, especially with that one. There's absolutely no surprise. That was sort of an internal, well-known kind of thing, that there was some discussion going on about the scheduling for that, and we talked about it in the Discord podcast, let's see, last week and this week on Tuesday, that was pretty much, maybe not confirmed, but the idea makes sense, especially when you look at GTA's time frame. And we'll talk about some other games that came out this week. We'll talk a little bit more about Forza, but first, let's reintroduce Silver. I missed him 1 week. He was sick 1 week, had family issues 1 week. So it's been 4. Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. It's been 4. So it's been 4 weeks. So what have you been playing? What have you been doing? Anything amazing? Somebody thinks you're starring in the new Spider-Man. So, anything you can tell us? Any rumors, any leaks and rumors about you returning in Spider-Man? No, seriously. What have you been playing? What have you been doing? Sweet. Damn. That's crazy. Thanks, guys. Somebody informed me you were muted while I had you talking, and I apologize. That was on me. That was from me muting you out while I was doing the switch. So you've been playing 007 a little bit.
Fair enough.
And then continue with what you were describing about your playthrough. My apologies, everybody. That's all.
Oh, I've been playing over the last month quite a bit of Horizon Forbidden West. I've been uploading a playthrough on ultra hard, no HUD, of that game, going through it from the start. No new game plus. So that's been fun. Even if it's also been quite frustrating at times. But yeah, I've been uploading that daily on my channel. Also, I have played 007 First Light quite a bit the past couple of weeks, or past week.
That was going to be my next question. Frustration-wise, what's the frustration? What's your frustration level on that game? The no HUD thing, easy. I don't see a problem with that on that game. But the super hard difficulty,
especially because the no HUD isn't actually no HUD. It will still pop up.
Yeah.
When you need it, and when you can hit a button to make it pop up. Yeah. So it's kind of there when you need it.
HUD. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the combat situations when you're in that? Because I felt that it wasn't great. It wasn't perfect. It felt a little off balance.
So I really appreciate actually the additional health on the machines. The fact that it takes more effort to take them down.
Feels more like a real machine.
That because not only that, but it makes me sort of switch weapons, switch tactics, different approaches in an encounter. I really have to approach them very, very differently than on the other difficulties, and I really enjoy that. Now, what does get to be frustrating is that the margin of error gets to be so razor thin, and the controls aren't always up to snuff to sort of carry you through that. Where often I'll struggle to get Aloy to do exactly what I want her to do and to execute what I want, even though I feel like I'm hitting the right combination of buttons. So I'm also doing quite a bit of melee actually on my ultra hard playthrough. So I'm using a lot of the melee combat and stuff. And there are a lot of sections where enemies will just like not stagger or ignore the hits again, which is something that frustrates me a lot in games, and I really really hate when developers implement that kind of difficulty. But overall, I think it's definitely more enjoyable on ultra hard than on the other difficulties, at least for me.
Yeah, I definitely thought that game was really easy on the normal levels. I mean, especially it just gives you a lot of stuff. Like it gives you a lot of
Yeah.
information and a lot of leeway, and auto aim on arrows and stuff like that on the PC was pretty bad. I think they patched that out. What about you, Johnny? What are you playing?
Yeah, I've been playing Forza 6. Awesome game. Been playing some First Light today for the first time. Been enjoying that as well. The early part has been great. A little bit of League on the side, but yeah, that's been it. Forza 6 has been great to jump in.
Yeah, I've been playing some Forza, a little bit of Bond. Honestly, just sort of, we've been doing a bunch of the podcasts in the Discord and hanging out and just talking about business and stuff like that, and some of the stuff going on in games, because it's been highly interesting to hear all these companies and all these switches. And I would say the most biggest news right now is that Fable got delayed, and we talked about this last week. I don't think there's any surprise for it. I don't know about you guys, but I saw some people playing Fable as well, 1 and 2, sort of getting back into the groove as this new one comes out.
Right.
But I feel like with Fable, and you look at GTA, it it popped up. It was like, oh, do you guys think Fable's release date and GTA's release date and the overlap there is going to affect them? I'm like, yeah, I mean, GTA affects every single thing, bar none. You can buy 2 games at one time, but you can't play them. And I think GTA, get out of the way. GTA, like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to step aside and just be like, okay, we're going to go ahead and let this run, and we're going to go ahead and let it do its thing to the point to where we return to the ability to pull gamers away from it for a new thing. And I think February is a good time frame. I don't remember what else is in February though, right? Could be one of those where everybody moves and then everybody's in 1 month, and it's like, oh crap, because February in the past has been pretty crazy. So
the last few years, February is always
it's been pretty rough.
Stacked.
Steady Mobbin says, at work, but going to run on the background to show my support. Thanks all for bringing this amazing podcast together consistently. Love you all. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate it. We will return to 007 in a moment for sure. But so November, right? November, December, January, February. So 4 months. That's some QA time. Not a ton, but diving in there, I think that this will really help a game like this with its bugs. So there's that. They're far enough back that they can move any PR that they want. I think February is a pretty good month. I think, I think by that time, they're hopefully we're going to see if it's a super buggy game in February, then we're going to be super happy that it delayed, because it would have been even buggier. And if it's a good, solid title that does what it's supposed to do, regardless if we like it or dislike it, that'll just indicate that those 4 months helped it. I don't see any real negatives to it. What?
No, you just froze for a minute for me.
Oh, sorry. Did I? Am I back?
Yeah.
Just for a second.
What do you guys think about the idea of, like, what would you like them to see? Bug fixing? Is there anything else? 4 months isn't a long time, is it? Really can't do much in 4 months.
No, yeah, I view it more as shoring up the performance and patching up some stuff in the presentation layer, more so than fixing anything super fundamental.
Yeah, because 4 months is just like you're right there at the cusp of what you can actually do and deliver.
Hopefully, they can run some additional Q&A.
Oh, true. Yeah. Maybe just go in, make sure that everything's situated and there isn't any actual issues. Is anybody in here gonna replay Forza? Or sorry, not Forza, but Fable before it does come out?
No.
1 and 2? No. Okay.
I also don't think the stories are going to be that connected that it's really going to matter. I would be surprised.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm not too stressed about it. I think overall, I don't really see a reason to replay them either because you change, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody they always change, you know. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I really can't. I can't see a reason why you would want to replay them unless you just really like the game. There was some board game we played in the game where they put down items and then covered them with a pot and then uncovered them. And there was an additional item, and you were supposed to guess what wasn't there in the last uncovering. So, like, it'd be like a sock, a dagger, a goblin, some mushrooms. Then he'd cover it and undo it, and all those four would be there. And another one was there. Do you guys remember that board game? Because I didn't remember it at all.
I only very, very vaguely remember some of the mini games.
Gotcha. Dude, it was hard. Well, it was also 3 a.m. after two of us in the chat.
I think that was only Fable 2 and 3, right? I don't think Fable 1. I don't remember Fable 1 really having mini games like that.
Yeah, and I don't remember even which one it was because they jumped into our stream and were like, I need some help with this puzzle. And 4 people who had stayed up for like 36 hours was not the help that person was expecting. It took us probably longer. And I'm like, and then he refused to write them down. By the way, this is Lord Addict. If you're watching, Lord, I'm calling you out. But he refused to write them down. And I'm like, but you could have just had some shorthand and be like, you know. But what we did was we reversed it. I was like, let's just guess let's identify as we move forward and you get to more and more items. Instead of identifying what's new, identify what wasn't there in the first uncovering. And then just go and we ended up getting it pretty quickly after that. But it was actually a difficult game at 3 a.m. when everybody's super tired. We were not helping. It was distinctly a very poor showing on our parts. It's definitely not a Discord you want to jump into and be like, hello, eclectic, intelligent friends. Can you please assist me in this difficult puzzle? And everybody in there is like, gah, caveman. Let me read some of these before we jump in. Sup, everybody. Thank you again for joining the podcast. We are right now talking about Fable being delayed. Can't silence the web slinger, Carrick. Yeah, my apologies. Ultra hard, no HUD. Horizon Forbidden West. It's the best looking game out, I think. It's one of.
Yeah.
Great looking game. Let's go.
I mean, we're blessed with a lot of great looking games these days, though.
We are. We absolutely are, yeah. And we're starting to see the engines help some of the games that wouldn't look as good look better. You know, like, so there's a little middle ground there. Let's go. It's Friday, and we're live enjoying this amazing podcast, Best Gaming Podcast. That's from Edmund. Thank you very much. Recent Hitman was so stiff, but 007's animations are smooth. It reminds me of Hitman Absolution. Okay. The only reason I don't think GTA was reason for the delay was because it's been delayed 2 years. Fable was supposed to come out last year. Oh no, that's the reason for the delay for sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because GTA delayed, even though it was delayed, then GTA delays. You still have to move because of GTA. Like that kind of stuff happens. 007 First Light is great this is Eternal. Great overall, but man, that last chapter really irritated me. It felt linear and felt like filler since most of the game gives you the choice between stealth, avoidance, and shootouts. Okay. The Wild Man says, I would have much preferred a period set Bond piece, like an old school Cold War. That's actually interesting. That would have been fun. Yeah.
There is the game, the EA's adaptation of From Russia with Love does that.
When was that? Feels like that must have been ages ago.
Oh, it was. I think that it's about 20 years ago. So yeah.
Okay, but come on, man. You can't like. No, it's okay. I mean, so I'm very. It's tough for me to jump into those older games.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, what would that have been on? Do you remember what it was on?
PS2.
Okay. Well, at least you're still on the newer systems, the Polygon systems. At least you're not like Sega Genesis and stuff like that. But so what do you guys think of 007? Let's jump to that. Like 007 overall. We'll go with Johnny first because we went Silver first. What do you think of 007? Like, what are you
So
liking?
for me, it's
disliking?
pretty early. I just got my gadgets and stuff, so pretty early on in my journey. But I think it looks fantastic. It's really polished and stuff. I've been having a great time with it, and I've been surprised by the actor as well. I've been enjoying it. I know he seemed a bit bland in all of the
Patrick
footage
Gibson.
before. Right. Just thought, yeah, he's great in it. And I like some of the side characters like Money Penny, great job with the banter and stuff. And it's just a good reminder that, yeah, I like those characters. I like those archetypes and stuff. That is, some of the essence of Bond. I think they got it pretty nailed. And the combo with some of the Hitman DNA works really well. Definitely seems more like a focused story driven game, right? Compared to the sandbox vibe of Hitman. But in a way that's more palatable for me. I always did find it a bit overwhelming, all the options you had, which is great, right? But you really have to get into it and learn a lot. And here it's just kind of a fun journey that takes you really smoothly from A to B so far.
What about the graphics?
Yeah, I think it looks great, and it runs super well on my machine as well in 4K with everything. I don't think it has RTX unless I missed it,
Okay.
but still looks phenomenal. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Silver?
I like it a lot. I'm nearly at the end now. Played it most of the week. I've been doing a pacifist stealth run playthrough where I don't do any takedowns or anything. I just sneak through, which has taken quite a long time to like figure out the right route and trial and error and that stuff. So it's been pretty slow going, but it's been pretty enjoyable overall. I've been very impressed with some of the elements, the graphics, the presentation. Presentation reminds me a lot of Everything or Nothing, which is the other EA game back when EA really put all their eggs into the movie license basket when they also did The Godfather and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they did Everything or Nothing, and they like got John Cleese, Pierce Brosnan. They got Willem Dafoe as the Bond villain, and Heidi Klum as the Bond girl, and like really high budget Bond game. It reminds me of on that type of scale. The presentation, the music's really really good. I've been like the score, especially the way they interweave the Bond motif really subtly in certain segments of the game. The way they do that makes it feel really trigger something for me. That feels really engaging. I've been really impressed with the writing, to be honest. I think it's the type of writing that's really, really difficult to pull off in terms of dialogue for Bond, because the flirtation can very, very easily become cringy or creepy. And I think they managed to avoid that. So I'm really impressed with that aspect as well so far. I'm enjoying the characters, even if they are archetypal. They tend to be for Bond. So yeah, that aspect really holds up as well. Gameplay wise, it feels kind of like a mesh. They're like the comparisons to Hitman. I see them. Particularly in terms of level design, and in particular, I feel like if you're going to compare it to Hitman, I feel like Absolution is probably the game you would compare it to the most in that series, because of that mix of open, sort of somewhat open segments, and then segments in between that are more linear, more traditional corridor structure levels. So that DNA is definitely there. The melee combat I really enjoyed. It feels like the environmental kills you can pull off feel really, really satisfying, and you can get into a really nice flow that feels deeply engaging when you just go from grunt to grunt to grunt to grunt and weave together a really nice sequence of takedowns. It feels deeply, deeply satisfying when you manage to pull that off. You're throwing people off ledges. You're like smacking them into electrical circuitry. You're like shooting them in the knee and then taking them out. You're disarming them. You're doing all kinds of stuff, and you're using your gadgets intermittently as well, and the gadget aspect as well. I feel like the gadgets are fun to play around with. I just feel like that the resource management is an aspect I feel like they could have improved or done better, because they sell the Bond illusion so well that James Bond running around like pilfering bleach and cleaning fluid and stuff from the cleaning lady's cart, and like little small batteries and stuff, it doesn't feel great. It feels like a lot of busy work, like combing the levels around to pick up every little scratch of resources so that you can use your gadgets. I would have preferred if they just put them on some kind of cooldown system. I think that would have worked better and helped sell that illusion better, or maintain it better, because that definitely does pull certainly me out of the game. The melee combat, to return to that again, feels a lot to me like the old Jason Bourne game, the Bourne Conspiracy, in terms of just the way you can use the environment and the way the combat sort of flows into the takedowns. And that's one of the most that game has one of the most satisfying melee systems I can remember. So that comparison is really to the game's asset, I feel like. But yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot, with only some minor cripples here and there with some of the level design where it falters a little bit, but those are rare, and for the most part, the level design is just to usual IOI amazing standard. I feel like the set pieces are really, really solid, really memorable. They're very Bond-like, and you get some, quintessential Bond quips again with props to the dialogue writing for that. Yeah, I feel like, and the two, like some of the evil henchmen, also somewhat memorable. Like they have a nice characteristic, and yeah, I just feel like they really managed to execute well on what they set out to do with it.
Quick question: what do you think of Lenny Kravitz in it? Did he fit? Did he play a good role in it?
I felt he was all right. I don't think he really. I don't think he was anything particularly special, to be honest. He did fine. He wasn't all that memorable to me, and yeah, he was just kind of there for me.
Yeah, it hasn't resonated with me at all, to be honest. So far,
right.
I haven't played nearly as much as you guys, but I think I'm in a part where it hasn't come to its own yet and sort of said I'm Bond and not just Hitman with more guns. But then because the level design is so truncated versus Hitman, I haven't got to see really the fleshed out part to where it feels like it's got its own identity yet. And I agree with the Bourne kind of discussion that it feels like other games versus its own game so far for me. Like it definitely feels like a mod from an amazing one from an old game versus its own thing so far. But I'm not as far into it as you guys are. I also, the beginning has been all over the place for me. The super fast, no fade cuts of the montage went from being interesting 1 minute in to like, oh, sweet Jesus Christ. Like, this is so already old feeling within, a couple minutes of that continuing. And I know that's, it seems like everybody either likes it or doesn't like it. So that's,
yeah.
I think that seems
like
I
enjoyed that aspect a little bit. Yeah.
I did too at first. I understand
how it gets old. Yeah.
I think it was just the boom, 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 continual. So that was sort of an issue. And then let's see what else. So this is going to sound weird, but I like the shooting. Think it fits well. But I had an issue that cropped up a lot, which is that he's supposed to be a good fighter, but the game's fighting system consistently makes him look worse than he actually is. But again, this could be starting at the early, first location. After the tutorial, the mansion, whatever, or the big palace area. That is sort of odd to me. And it may just be the way the game is built on the Hitman engine and all that stuff, because it does look so Hitman-like. Every interaction feels Hitman-like, that kind of stuff. Feels better than Hitman did, though. I mean, he can defend himself, he can fight, he can do things that others can't in the prior Hitman games. I think the writing's good. Pretty good, actually. I guess I'll take that back. I think Lenny Kravitz so far feels wasted beyond all belief. I don't quite know.
It could have easily been played by someone else, for sure.
Yeah. It could have been one of those things where, for whatever reason, I don't know why he's there. It seems like a bunch of money spent for no reason. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how much it costs, but yeah. The reason why we're shifted right now is because that there's a big warning on Discord, guys. Anyway, so I don't know, man. Just some oddities there. Graphically, it looks good. I think graphically it also plays good. Haven't seen any real drops in graphics in performance.
I haven't had any performance issues either.
I think the driving is
fucking
horrendous, though. I think the linear driving thing, I get why they put it in, because you got to have a driving moment in a Bond, right? There is no game, no thing, no Bond footage that's not going to have a driving section. And yet, when you do get in the car, boy, I hope you didn't play Forza before you play this game, because your brain will have such a hard time with like this 360. I guess that's what it would remind me of, those 360 games with their sort of slotted out location and thing you can do in it. But once you get that figured out, then I like the mini game stuff. There's always something that's different. There's always something that's changing it up, which I think helps a great deal. But Johnny, I think, said he likes the character, likes the actor.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Surprised me, maybe. Didn't expect to like him.
Okay. Fair.
I guess I never have understood James Bond at a fundamental level. But there is an element here, because you see the beginnings, right? He's being assigned to the team and he's coming to grips with everything. And the sales pitch of, listen, the pay is kind of shit. You're going to be constantly at risk of dying. Your life expectancy is going to suck. If you get caught, forget about it, right? We're not going to back you up. And he's like, when do I start? I never understood that jump. Like, why is he so driven to take that on? Is it a patriotism kind of thing? Is it he's just thrill seeking? How do you guys understand that?
Of those. It's a combination of all of those. He's definitely a thrill seeking personality for sure. And there's definitely that whole aspect in it. But there's also just part of it is also the power and authority that it gives him. Like that position, to sort of play outside of the rules. And then there is the sort of personal loyalty to M and to country.
That's exactly where I usually sort of a business like country loyalty that's there. That isn't there's. It's not based on money. It's not based on whatever. There's just, for whatever reason, loyalty and heritage and all that kind of stuff. It's just sort of built into that character. But it is grandfathered in many.
Go ahead. And I think probably, if you want to like psychoanalyze some of that, it's probably part of that is probably that M becomes a sort of parental figure to Bond.
You saying he has mommy issues?
Well, he's an orphan, so yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I think
he needs a substitute.
I'll move it a little bit so people don't lose their mind so much. I think that also when you look at it, you could say that technically they've got away with it for so long that now you can't really go into Bond without knowing something about Bond. Really? And so it's just all grandfathered in. And even the starting mission accepts a certain amount of ownership of the past on the gamer. It's like even though you don't know who he is or you don't know how this is going to start, you already know all the stuff about Bond, and so there's these connections being made. Like you even know, oh, this isn't him as a 00 yet. And you wouldn't know that with any other game. You know it's simply because it's Bond. So there's all these things they get away with the storytelling. And when I say get away with, I don't mean that in a negative. I simply mean by being vested in that. So I like it. I like the different. I think it's always been cool to see different. 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 I was going to call them religions, but different politics and nations and their spies have always really interested me. An American spy and how they deal with things, whether it be the CIA or somebody else, versus somebody that is from Europe, somebody that's from Russia,
especially like a regimented country,
China,
such a regimented
country. Yeah. So there's always this
rules.
There's always this, and especially you're a stickler for rules, but you're also put in a place where like you're going to break the rules a lot, or you're breaking some nation's rules maybe, and and how do you play within it? But I mean, Bond ultimately was made after what's his name anyway?
Ian Fleming.
Ian Fleming, yeah. So like, sort of, it doesn't have to necessarily make sense. It was just sort of a author's love affair with a person in real life. I mean, not love affair, but what do you call it? Appreciation. I like that the actor, I like the actor. I hope they use him and do like a movie, a young James Bond movie. I think it'd be good. Yeah, who knows? I think they've basically stated this is their own version of Bond. So it doesn't matter where the movies go. This is going to be their thing. And it's sold
their own universe. Yeah.
It's sold really well. So did Forza. This is a big, once again, big games are selling well. I think people, it's easy to point at particular game genres or whatever and be like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's like, that's not the issue. The issue is that there's a lot of competition and you really have to offer something new. And here, something new is really not super new, but it's a good amalgamation of all these other genres put together by a developer that people fairly trust for the stealth part. I think that helps a lot. There's a lot of trust from those towards those guys. They're actually one of the few really trusted developers. It doesn't mean people don't see the weaknesses in the prior games, in the Hitman games. It's just that there's a lot of trust. Even I have it. Because when they were doing Bond, I was like, well, I don't really care for a Bond game. If it happens and it's good, that's great. But I was like, if anybody out there can handle the quieter parts of a Bond, it is absolutely them. Like, it feels like they could do it. And they did do that. So, yeah, very cool to see. What did they sell? Already 1.5 million?
I think. Yep. I have no idea. Another slightly negative note, though, is the always online component to part of the game, which is carried over from the Hitman games for some reason.
You can play offline.
You can play, right? You can play the campaign offline. Yeah. Although there are still some, I think there are still some issues there with some of the challenges and progression there potentially. But those challenges potentially unlock stuff. But if you want to play like the attack sim part of the game, which is the part of the game that's sort of meant to
extend the replayability.
To ensure the game's extend the game's lifespan, then you have to be online.
Okay.
Well, that sucks
for progression.
Regardless. Yeah, I did see the online stuff, but couldn't quite tell what it was about. I think people got it early too, and they were only able to play a little bit before it needed to download more, that kind of stuff. So I'm not at all interested in this game's version of continued replayability. I'll check it out. I'm more interested in like Hitman's because I did know about the tax sim thing. But hey, it's a different game. It's doing a different thing. Tax sim fits into Bond. They've shown in multiple different movies Bond doing the training, so like that all fits. It works. It works for that game. But yeah, good for them, man. They've done incredibly well. Anything else for Bond that we can think of?
I like that opening. The theme song is really well produced. Sounds great. And cool.
Personally, I just think the music's the best part of the game so far for me.
Yeah, it's been
from
great.
start to finish. I think the moving around in stealth and the way it flits in and out, injects itself a little bit, then goes back into the back. I just absolutely love the music. I think the music hits harder than anything right now for me, where it's just like, wow, that's really well done. That is really well done. And of course, the opening scene, really well done. So yeah, that part's been great. Sound is actually really well done in that overall. Makes sense, but nice to see. I trust them. I do. I trust them. I think that even if I don't
voice acting also overall is really solid.
Yeah.
In terms of performances,
I would say, yeah, I would agree. I would say that Dickhead Chad, who helps you destroy for some reason that just makes no sense in the world, half of the training center at the starting of the game. Was
I mean Moreau. Yeah.
Just had the fucking voice chat in. I mean, the people in the voice chat was like, "This makes no fucking sense at all. What is happening?" But his voice acting is a little. I wasn't my favorite, but the rest, everybody else has been really good. And when I say wasn't my favorite, I don't mean bad. We've seen bad voice acting. None of this is bad voice acting. Bad voice acting, you notice right away. Lana Del Rey is amazing. Is she? I don't know about that. Not in a sarcastic way. I just don't know. But that Bond song is sweet. Yeah. Moving on from there. Let's talk about Forza. Forza's selling well. Forza got a bunch of people playing. Watched and made a shit ton of races for people to jump in and in the ACG group. Been hilarious watching them try to do. I tricked them and trapped them. It's been amazing. We had a hill climb that nobody could get up when they first got into it, which is fun because you know how a lot of the races in Forza are made for you to be, you're supposed to get through them, but a hill climb is not. A hill climb is supposed to be difficult. So I put a hill climb in, and it has actually worked. It's been hilarious. A lot of traps, a lot of switchbacks in my races, and just watching people do them, and then sitting back and just watching these guys play Forza and just cackling, man. Just having a genuinely good time with games. It's so nice. It's we sat in there. Tim came in, a newer patron. He came in. He was doing Bond. Some other people were playing Forza, and some people. Dev was playing XCOM, I think. Yeah, and it's just a nice time in gaming where there isn't any real conspiracy, and just listening to people having good time in gaming without talking about some fucking platform holder doing something shitty. It was great, and it's. Well, I don't know if I love this Forza as much as maybe. Trying to think if it was 3 or 4 that I really liked. They've nailed it, man. Like they've nailed it. They're gonna have a super hard time figuring out what to do after Japan.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I mean, the
I
amount
think
of people who are just in love with it is great. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the thematic cars with the Japan scene and some of the like more odd cars. You see like the really small ones where you sort of need a Japanese sized person to fit in. Like the quirky ones sometimes are a cool addition. Sometimes to pick up one of those instead of just a supercar.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, there's been quite a lot of cool little side cultural stuff that pops up. So not just like the pretty sights and everything, the variety, that's been great. But yeah, some of that cultural stuff that pops in where like, you're delivering food and like they're talking about different stuff. And like sometimes the radio is in Japanese. It's got like some Japanese stuff. I just thought it worked really well.
The only issue I have with Forza is a stupid ass unskippable cutscene, man. Like,
dude, I know, I noticed that.
It's weird because I can't remember if the last one's had it. It's been a couple years, it's been a while. But when they start telling you, they're like, today we're going to talk about the honor of the Japanese or whatever, and you're just like,
or you find a car and they're telling you like for ages about it, like, oh, this is why. Car.
Shut up! I gotta deliver these. Fireworks and this bald eagle to the top of Mount Fuji. America.
Oh yeah,
we're coming to your Japan. Yeah, but hey, they got the cars, they got the stuff. I mean, overall, great game. Seems to have satisfied a lot of people. Really like that you can just jump in, Customize is easy. Jump in with a friend. They're racing. Grab the leader's car, make a copy of it so that your car's good enough to do that race. And you're off and racing. Customization, make your own levels is pretty good. There's 2 idiosyncrasies in that. Making your own levels that fucking suck. And I don't know why they do it. I'm sure there's some reason they do it. But there's a certain way in which you can put a level together and waste an hour, 2, 3 hours of your time, and you can't fix it. You literally have to go back and just delete your 2 hours of work. And when I say 2 hours, that's me. I'm sort of a stickler for the race, and I will look around and try to find spots. But that pisses me off. There's a couple things with their editor that really are like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing with this thing? Like but you still are able to go out there. You can edit anything in the game world, or any place. You just put down shit in the game world. I'm sure there's YouTube shorts of people putting crazy shit in this game. And then we'll see the car packs. I was surprised there's a couple different car brands that aren't represented as much as I thought it would be. Hyundai isn't represented as much as I thought. I might mess this up. There was a couple others. Subaru's in there. Anyway, there were 1 or 2 that I noticed that there were a very lean selection of cars, which I'm assuming will be on your car packs. Maybe there's a reason for that. But as somebody who owns one of those, I was surprised because I went in and I was like, oh, seriously? I think there's 1, and then there's 1 or 2 on the rolls or maybe in the auction house, right? Maybe. Auction house stuff is easy. I love that you can give away your cars to newcomers. I think all that kind of stuff is awesome. You can sort of pass it down to other people, which is one of the best parts of this game. And really, I wish other games would do this. Imagine a skateboarding game that's online. You get in and somebody's got a good deck and they're like, hey, next person who comes in is going to randomly choose from this group of boards, and boom, you got this. I think it's awesome. And it lets people sort of just jump into a game and get something that they might think is cool for free. Just be like, wow, that's charitable. Yeah. And I've had a blast doing that, giving those away or selling them at auctions. So, yeah, the game is fucking fun, man. I will say steering wheel support's okay, but, I haven't used my steering wheel in a while, guys, but I have been driving a lot. And I forgot. Driving with a racing wheel is like driving with a fucking donut. It is so small compared to my wheel in my car. So I'm like accustomed to, racing Euro fucking wheel paddles on my car. And I get into this and I grab my steering wheel and it's, I think it's a 13. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, I had to do this weird thing where I had to sit closer and claw it from the bottom. I did this and moved around, but it was just like this uncomfortable thing. It was very odd. Yeah. Very odd in the way it handled. Let's go with the super chats. I want to thank everybody for the super chats. They do help out the channel. As you guys know, it's me by myself doing the reviews, and it's these guys here on Friday, so any little bit helps.
Sorry.
No, that's all right, man. We sing here occasionally, not well, but Austin, $5 super chat, longtime listener here from Memphis. You guys don't seem to care for fighting games, but how do you feel about Virtua Fighter 6? Well, first of all, I love them. I think we actually like them. It's just that some fighting games sort of have taken over the roost. And if you don't like those, like I don't like Tekken that much, it sort of disappears. I think Virtua Fighter 6, I think the new trailer leak looked awesome. I can't wait. Virtua Fighter is my favorite game of all time. All the way back to Virtua Fighter 1, Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Fighter 1 Mega Mix on the Sega Saturn. They are amazing.
Hell yeah.
I named my dog Lao after a Virtua Fighter character. So to
I
say
thought
that
it was Mortal Kombat. Lao.
No. If so, I'd name the dog fucking Shang Tsung or something. Amazing. Yeah. Like, Ming is from Flash Gordon. Lao is my favorite character of all time in Virtua Fighter. Zen, because he looked that way when we picked him up, and Loki, because he was a trickster. He was always into something. So we name our dogs thematically. You gotta Got to watch
Did Ming
dog.
have the appropriate mustache?
He did, but his white. It was a revert. Well, maybe Ming's was white later on. Maybe had white. I'm thinking Ming from the movie because that's the only one I really remember versus comics. But
Max von Sydow in that role.
Yeah, dude, he's fucking amazing in that role. He was amazing in that role. Everybody.
I mean, he was amazing in every single role he ever did.
He was. He was. I even liked him in Judge Dredd, the original, where he was the what do they call him in that? He had a name. I can't remember. I don't remember. But yeah. A bum named Walt, $5 super chat, longtime lurker, years. I think it's been about time. I joined the community. Thanks for the consistency. Cheers from the Pacific Northwest. I'm in Oregon, man. Where are we? Where in the Pacific Northwest are you? Because I'm in Oregon. We can get together. We can hang out. You can come out. We can put you to work from 3:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. You can do martial arts. I'm just joking. Invite everybody over and be like, okay, it's martial arts time. Dastardly Eagle says, I got a 2,500 horsepower GTR drag car from my first wheel spin. Man, I haven't got anything from my wheel spins in Forza. Forza has been all money for me. Just solid cash. But I think I got a 3-wheeled, one of those podunk, 2 wheels in the front, 1 wheel in the back type of creepy ass roadster things or something. Yeah. It's a shame a lot of the fighters have gone live service. Yeah, true. Shang Tsung would be an awesome dog name. Oh, it would. It would. Trust me. This dog maybe the next will be named that. But yeah, when it comes down to it, Forza's just it's everything I think Microsoft needed at this time. And I like Forza Motorsport, but I don't like it as much as Horizon. Most of the time, there have been great ones, but I think Forza Horizon just fits with the current market we see in gaming, which is everybody. Gaming has gone PC, it's gone console, it's gone mobile, it's everywhere. There's multiple ages and just everybody's in it now, and it makes sense that a game like that's a little easier to get into and a little bit more fun versus that technical thing. And then if somebody loves tweaking their car, they can jump into a GT or jump into sim racing or Forza and enjoy themselves.
Yeah. You still have a lot you can tweak, like, your suspension, like tons of different.
Yeah, the only problem is that I really feel that they missed on this, and many racing games miss on this. And that's that damage, tire wear, if you turn it on, only affects you.
Right.
And I think the simulation rate that we're seeing might be a cause of that, where they sim at a higher, basically a higher sample rate than they sim, or than they display on the display. So you might be simming at like 360 samples a second, maybe displaying at 60 or 120. Maybe that's eating up CPU, but I would like to see CPUs be affected by the same thing I am. But I think there's some cheat-worthy stuff you could do. And I think that until they engage like race rules, there are ways that I was already thinking that if they were impacted, what could I do to make it so that they couldn't stay on the road, but I could. And there are ways to do it. So I guess at that point, they've decided let's not really go ahead.
Yeah, the whole rules for me, but not for the aspect is very frustrating.
Yeah. And I mean, I get that many do it, but I still have to bring it up here. Mick Getrick says, haven't played a racing game since NFS Carbon, where you can drift down mountains. Kind of fell out of racing. Well, Need for Speed Carbon is one of the best racing games of all time, with the best editor of all time, with the ability to cut into your cars. So if you stopped then, my friend, you stopped at a good time. Not a bad time to stop, right? Not bad. They've sold.
Yeah, might really end on a high point.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to leave completely, that would be a good time. Though Burnout Paradise was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool game. That was a good racing game. They've sold a great deal, but they haven't come near the premier top money earner. Well, maybe outside of Roblox and stuff, which is Star Citizen, Johnny. This was in your news. Star Citizen, $1 billion. $1 billion. Still not out.
I mean, it's a crazy number.
It
so
is.
that's the just a lifetime
Yeah.
funding for that project. So
Over the past 10 years.
10 or 12
right,
or 14
it started
or whatever.
in 2012.
2012.
So yeah, 14 years ago.
14 years ago. Yeah. $1 billion. Congratulations.
It's
I guess.
insane.
Yeah. I will
I'm
say
seeing
this,
here.
though. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, what are you saying?
No, I'm just saying they had a one day they saw an almost $10 million raise. So it was just like one day it went up $10 million.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I play it a lot now. There were a bunch of people playing it last weekend on their free weekend and really liking what they're playing. So, you know, it is what it is. We now I think we see all these games, so many games come and go. Some do Kickstarter, don't get out. Some do Kickstarter like this and are coming out at delayed dates. We see Zombioid, which took 18,000 fucking years to come out into 1.0. It is what it is, but I think $1 billion is crazy. I think that most of that's, I feel like most of that doesn't surprise me now, though, when I find out that games that are coming out in the last 5 years are costing 500 to 600 million. You can see that inflation starting, you know, you can see the increase of game development where you start to see, and you see $1 billion and go, wow, that's insane. And then you think 14 years and you're like, oh, okay. Well, that's actually not as insane as it sounds when you come across 14 years. To me, it's insane it hasn't come out, but that's neither here nor there. People seem to be enjoying it, and that's all that matters. So have a good time if you are playing Star Citizen. I've had a great time, but I only put $45 in, I think. I got one ship, and then I got a free ship somehow. I think I got 2 free ships, maybe. And I put about 200 hours in it. So I got mine. I got my money's worth. Who knows when it finally comes out if I'll even have a chance to go back and play it. But Star Citizen will be a case study for the ages as well as a business case study for MBA schools. It'll be a study in how to like really miss every one of your milestones. Every single one. But it's
a great example of scope creep.
Yeah.
Because they have an original idea of what the scope is going to be, and then they keep kind of pushing like, hey, we want to do this extra thing and this, and now we have Henry Cavill and Gillian Anderson and all these actors in the Squadron 42 campaign and stuff. It just keeps growing.
And if anybody's surprised by it, don't be, because I mean, this happened with Freelancer. Microsoft and Chris and Freelancer had the exact same issue. So, like, I don't know why anybody's that surprised, but they hit the perfect time for Kickstarter, I think. And then, admittedly, I mean, you can literally just jump in and play the hell out of that game right now. So I think that also does help, where maybe a couple years ago, you really, things were like little parts of it were working. Now you can do missions and all that kind of stuff. And as I always say, if you want to check out this kind of thing and hear about it from somebody who sees the good and the bad, Indio, who does abbreviated reviews, does excellent videos on this game. He's one of the people in our Discord. I think his videos are actually top notch. And I'm starting to see him on YouTube Shorts, which is crazy. It's nice to see his videos popping up. He's had a couple explode on YouTube Shorts, so that's always good to see because he's been plugging away. He's just a guy who likes the idea of it and likes the back and forth of that game and all the stuff that goes on with it. What else you got for news there, Johnny?
Let's see. What else was cool? The Witcher 3 Songs of the Past DLC got talked about. We don't have a lot of details. They did mention it's going to be comparative to Blood and Wine in scope, which was pretty significant, but simply kind of talked high level about it.
Does it seem, got nothing against Witcher 3, but we know Witcher 4 is coming, right? But if you saw the recent breakdown of developers working, I think, in all honesty, just because of when things were released, I think I would have rather have seen them do another DLC for Cyberpunk. Now, admittedly, I'm not a fan of Cyberpunk as much as Witcher 3, though both are good games now. I don't really like gravitate towards the desire to replay 3 or anything. The DLC comes out, maybe I will. But just because Cyberpunk is so late in their development cycle than Witcher 3 was, it's a newer game, only got Liberty. I just feel like that would have been the one that they would have done. But Witcher 3, of course, has sold an insane amount, because I think they also announced that recently. That sold like 65 million. 60. Am I right on that? 65 million?
Yeah, 65 million copies since 2015.
Give us Witcher 4 already. Yeah, I guess that's sort of why I was shocked when they were showing. I mean, it's obvious that whatever was going on with Witcher 4, that it almost feels like they were preparing to move forward and didn't, and went back to 3. Maybe that's because Witcher 4 they looked at and were like, that's going to take a while. But I mean, we have trailers for Witcher 4. They're shit trailers, you know. They're like, you know, Unreal Engine experiment trailer, and then their CGI trailer. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I just it feels like they trump up Cyberpunk, and it's obviously done well in numbers, but maybe that engine is that bad and they just don't want to mess with it. I mean, you know, they've been pretty open that it's rough.
I think it's probably just a question of Witcher 4 is probably closer to release than Cyberpunk, and so it's
I'm sure it is
a segue. Is that a segue into Witcher? Going to be a segue into Witcher 4?
You mean
it's also
true?
It's also being developed by another studio, right?
Yeah,
Fool's Theory, which is being
co-developed, I guess we'll call it. Yeah, Thaumaturge.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one too, because Thaumaturge,
rough.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah, so who knows, man? I mean, people love both those games, so I don't know. It's just so odd. It feels like Cyberpunk almost is right now in the Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 New Vegas area, or in the Batman Arkham Origins, where they're sort of pushed to the wayside. Doesn't mean they're gone, obviously, we know that, but just like, we're done with this, we're moving on. But we'll have to see. Maybe The Witcher will tell a story that will that will roll us into The Witcher 4 game somehow. Give us, I mean, even though it's not a prequel, right? It is Witcher 4 is not a prequel, it's a sequel. But maybe it's walk us into it in some way. I don't know. They say it'll be the scope of Heart of Stone or Blood and Wine.
No, the other one, Blood and Wine.
What's that? 20.
That's the one in Toussaint.
20. Yeah, that's what, 20, 40 hours? 40 hours of DLC?
40, definitely closer to 40.
Big DLC.
Yeah, it was very significant.
Sweet. Well, looking forward to that. What else we got, Johnny?
Steam Deck had a pretty massive price hike.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Almost like 50% price hike.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think I'm just looking at US dollars.
Okay,
it's gone to $950. US dollars used to be $650.
Right.
That's the one terabyte version. And then $790 for the 512 gigabytes. So it's massive. You know, it's a massive price hike. And funny enough, they sold out within 24 hours of the price hike.
Yeah, the idea that there's going to be another price hike.
Yes.
Is a very good psychological seller. Yeah. That is
right.
Yeah.
Or maybe that they won't be able to buy them in the future or something.
Yep. And you may not be able
Scarcity.
to. There's been some stories I heard in the last couple months that the Steam Machine, the frame, had a price that is even higher than these right here. And then I heard somebody in the last couple of days say the same thing. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago in here, as well as in the side podcast, that I'd been hearing that the prices for, there really isn't a way to get out of these prices. and that they were just holding on and holding on and holding on to what, I don't know. But at some point, you have to look at it and just be like, hey, this is not going to work out. And so we're seeing all of the older handhelds that were, I would consider to be a thoughtful process to purchase prior. So you would look at them, you would think about it for a while, and you'd be like, this fits me. You had some choices. There's just no choices for handhelds right now. They're just too expensive. You're buying into something that is just outlandishly expensive now. It's tough. It's tough. I feel like a lot of gamers are just stuck with what they have. And this is not a stuck with what you have because you are cheap, or stuck with what you have because you won't pay some more. It's where you're looking going, holy shit, I really got to just sit here and figure out if I can do it at all. I mean, they're massive price hikes. Massive. Especially for an ancient-ass system like that. Like,
Yeah.
We're and by the way, a lot of the smaller ones also got price hikes. It's not like it's not like they're brand new and are the only ones who got a price hike. So
Yeah.
Sucks, man. Sucks. I'll tell you what, dude. I would not want to be a hardware manufacturer right now and try to announce something.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of begs the question, like, if you have to raise the prices that much for these existing systems, like you were saying, kind of, what is it going to be for the new ones? Like the Steam machine, that thing's going to be just a crazy price tag.
Yeah, or they're doing the only thing that you might be able to do in a situation like this. You look at the time that's going, you look at the time for your new product, and you realize that the new product is going to come in at a price that is quite high compared to the currently priced Steam Deck 2 days ago. And you raise the price of the Steam Deck now with the hopes that when the new price comes out for the new Steam Deck, it's not as much of a sticker shock. Do you see what I'm saying? So you look at your sales, they're not doing the best, but they're still selling, and you say, okay, we know the new one is coming. Let's raise up the old one so that there's a tighter gap between the old one and the new one, with the hopes that people see the new one and go, well, if I'm going to get anything, I might as well get this one that is only $100 to $200 more. And you sink that cost, especially if you are not seeing a ton of sales on whatever it is you are selling. So I don't know what they were selling, but we saw it with PlayStation. They had the number one number of sales, and then they had their worst week ever because they basically pushed those sales forward. People bought it, and then, and now we're hoping that we won't see as big of a gap on the PlayStation 6 and Xbox, Helix. Yeah, wow. Weird times we live in, man.
Very.
Yep.
And you know what's crazy? That right now, I could buy a Switch 2 for under £400 here in the UK.
Yes.
But I need to pay twice that for a Steam Deck, which, like you said, it's pretty old hardware at this point.
Yeah. I mean, they both have their huge positives and negatives. Obviously, with the Switch 2, you've got the positives of those exclusives. But for handhelds right now, it's sort of, if you like their games at all, it might be the place, to go until they raise theirs. So, it is what it is. We are in a weird place. I think Steam are going to drop the Steam machine, just thinking we'll then revisit it in 2028. That's been brought up too. Do some of these companies just release one bit of their hardware if they had a plan for 3 or 4? You got your VR, which, by the way, VR used to be a loss leader, even though it was sold back in the day when RAM wasn't super expensive and all these NAND chips weren't expensive. Now they're even more. So it's like, do you even do VR, especially when VR developers just aren't around? I mean, so many VR developers are gone. Like, do you just look at it and say, hey, this is not the time? I think this is worldwide, right? I don't think it. We know it. It's worldwide. It's unique in and of itself. I think we can all say it's most unique time for games right now for us and hardware. So developers and makers are going to have to probably make choices we've never seen before, which might just be eat the cost of your development, which is billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's billions, but you don't want to release a device and not only not sell what you have made, but also possibly, sour your market for your next device, that kind of stuff. It's a weird one. Let's see.
Silver, you're muted.
Yeah, and then you hope you can make it up on the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, we live in weird times, man. Because it feels like just yesterday when we were sitting here talking about this, the mini PCs and all this stuff and handhelds, and that there was a plethora of places to play games and all of these different, spots. And then in, a couple short jumps, it's now become, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, from any kind of financial standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. It's rough. It's basically like live with what you've got, or find somebody who's got a used PC you can borrow their card from, make payments for video cards, which is crazy that a video card can cost the cost of a used car. By the way, that is very true, especially if you wanted to do like a 5090. And people will always say, like, why do that? But it's like, because 2 expensive cards or 1 super expensive card. I think some people are just trying to decide, do I do 1 super expensive card and make those payments, and then hope that it lasts me forever. A lot of hope. Not
here. Even the cheapest used cars are still going to run you more than a 5090 here.
Man.
Because of all the we have the most expensive cars in the world because of we put all sorts of taxes on them.
Fuckers.
Yep.
Here you can still get a used car. I just saw a used car 3,200 here. Would it drive? Yes. For a while too. But it's going to have its issues. But it's like, it is pretty crazy when you see that kind of stuff. Man, yeah.
It
weird.
is. Yeah.
It's just it's mind-boggling how fast. There were still ways to get things cheap, and then it went. And dude, I saw somebody who was celebrating the cost of a 2 terabyte NVMe, and I still have 2 terabyte and 4 terabyte NVMe's in packages that I had bought prior to the price hike, and I haven't put in my system because I'm like, should I just sell these? Not even scalp them, just like sell them at whatever price is like going, because do I really need it? I bought a hard drive. My dog knocked it down, destroyed it last week. I bought a massive storage hard drive. And I was like, oh, this is a normal hard drive, by the way, not a SSD or an NVMe. And I went to buy it again. I was like, well, I'm going to have to buy that again. But there's NVMe as a flash in it. There's some little bit of RAM to speed up the burst times. And that went up by $200. And I was like, oh,
wow,
not doing that. Yeah, crazy. What else we got?
Another thing was that Epic announced Unreal Engine 6. So they showcased this through Rocket League, basically, in the trailer. But yeah, UE 6 is on the way. We don't know much about it. But if we think back to how big of a jump UE 5 was, this could be pretty insane when it comes to like democratizing all these tools to like small developers and people, without having a very big team, you're able to do a ton with blueprints and all these things.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking it might be next level. I'm assuming there's going to be, AI integrated, all these types of things.
I would also assume that it's got a ton of work done on RAM compression. Texture compression to fit in VRAM and stuff like that because of the card situation that's going on. Like all kinds of little tricks and things that they're going to, allow somebody to build into their scope. But yeah, I mean, it's free I can't remember. You have to sell a certain amount before you have to pay, the typical thing that they're doing with engines now. So I think that that's cool for a developer who jumps in. And we've got stutter in some games fixed, not all, but I would like to see a little bit more of that. And hopefully we see a 2.0 of like nanite and those kind of things where things are like less heavy than they have been in the past. And I feel like a couple games, not all for sure. In fact, I would say the minority, but we still see a couple games that are finally using Unreal and going, okay, this is actually performant. It always seems to take them 1 or 2,
iterations.
Before we finally get this. So, but I'm excited for it. Yeah. I mean, the easier it is for somebody to basically throw up a new game that they want to make, the better, as long as you can, not make it so that you're going to need 12 times the fucking VRAM or something like that. Hopefully they knew that this was in there and they have some stuff, directly in those pipelines to help people with a 12 or an 8 gigabyte. Remember when people were already moving to 8 before the RAM jump? People were like, oh yeah, 8's running into issues, been running into issues for what, 2-3 years, You're just like, oh yeah, we got to fix this. We got to do this. And then all of a sudden now 8's right back where we started. 4 feels like, no, I'm just joking. Maybe not 4. That would suck. Also, I was looking at some information here. Nothing really new on it, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion. We got Call of Duty. North Koreans. So basically, like, what is that? Homefront the Resistance. But yeah, so North Koreans, looks like what? They're invading America, it looks like, if I'm correct on that. Is that what it is?
No idea.
Okay. I couldn't really tell either. The trailer was short, but a new Call of Duty, North Korea as the bad guys. You always got to have your bad guys, got to have an entire nation. Well, I mean, we are set up to be enemies, but I'm actually sort of, listen, Call of Duties are, some have been great, some have been terrible, but I'm always interested in new Call of Duty. But I was stunned that it was coming out this year. I don't know why, but for them to be like, hey, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, whatever, coming out in October or whenever it's coming out, I was just like, damn. Their iteration process with how they do their developments is fucking, it's crazy, man. I'm excited to see it. I mean, it might suck, but I love myself a little campaign shooter. And the multiplayer is always, at least somewhat enjoyable to jump into and take some people out. But you guys probably aren't super. What was the last Call of Duty you guys played, like a ton of, and why? Do you remember the last Call of Duties that you guys jumped into?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not this one with the guy from Heroes, the prior one.
The prior one?
I'm losing track of the names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played quite a bit of that one. That was quite good, but I haven't jumped into the newer one.
Do you do the campaigns?
I do almost exclusively the campaigns, and sometimes I do a bit of the zombies, but I never really got into the multiplayer aspect.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Silver?
That's probably World at War.
Yeah, dude, that one was awesome. That was a good game, though. Hey, like we said earlier, if you want to leave a certain genre, leave on a high note. World at War. That's a high note. That game was so good, man. So good. Infinite Warfare. I like that game. I might be in the minority, but I enjoyed that game. My last one was this one. This last one that
Infinite
came out. But
Warfare is probably the only one I was actually tempted to maybe try.
To jump back into. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time with it. I always like to test them. I'm always looking forward to a good run and gun, over the top patriotic shooter or anti-patriotic, depends on which one. No Russian. What else we got, Johnny?
I saw this one. So the new Remedy CEO was talking about their franchises and stuff, and he was talking about how their games should have sold more and how they're gonna focus on basically boosting their existing games a lot through like cross media and stuff. So they're saying here, our deal with Annapurna goes into making our games, our franchises shine further and reach an audience that doesn't exist today. It's a pity. I think Alan Wake should have sold more. Control should have sold more. And he goes on to say that's one of the first things we need to fix, even before trying to make more games to a certain extent. Maximize the potential of the ones we have because they're incredible, and cross media is going to help us do that. So that's interesting. I think he's right. We've always talked about this, know, that they're very well realized games. They have shortcomings, but for what they sold, it feels like they didn't do as well as you would expect.
It's also just a shame that they aren't even on, like, Alan Wake 2 still isn't on Steam.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that they're
still Epic exclusive.
I think that,
which I think is hurting them.
It is, but it's not hurting them to the tune of what's happening with them.
No.
So that is for
I mean,
sure.
even they had a sales problem even before Alan Wake 2. So
exactly, yeah. So you look at it and it's like, okay, you don't want to harm yourself. I'm personally a believer that if there's a generic storefront, you try to be on all of them. But of course, they stated pretty clearly they wouldn't have made Alan Wake 2 without Epic. So it's like, okay, whatever happens there. But you look at Control, you look at others, and you're like, all right, there's definitely an issue with. And here's the issue that it may be, and I could be wrong on this. I probably am. I feel like Remedy has almost caught themselves by their fan base and their thematic way in which they show stuff that it actively pushes away a lot of casual games. That people look at that stuff and they look at the highfalutin way in which Alan Wake talks, the rain came down in sheets of, or Max Payne, where but you don't see a lot of guns.
The overly verbose,
overly verbose, and you get that kind of situation where you have this poetic, thematic kind of delivery that exists, and then Control is back rooms, which feels, and all those kind of OCP horror. Not a lot of people love horror. So you have two horror games, and then you got verbose, and you've got
not just horror, vibe. To your point, but complicated horror where you have to.
That's what I mean.
There are all these, exactly, all these disparate pieces that you have to fit together.
And
figure out.
I think that people treat it like Twin Peaks or something, where they're like, "Hey, this is a great thing that it seems like people really like it." But even we talk about those games as in, "I wonder what this is." And if a casual listener hears that, you've got 5 or 6 things that are already filtering you down to a smaller sales point, which is your horror. Now it's complicated. Now it's this. Now it's that. Now it's this. And now it's like even the people who play it question what may be going on in blank game. And I'm wondering if that's the way it is, man. I think it's entirely possible that what makes them so grabby to many of us, it makes them so unattainable to others. And the idea of wanting wanting more sales is great, but I'm also slightly wondering if their cost and expected sales need to be also brought in
sacrifice
line.
That. Right.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it now, right? Because it's been a while, but the musical scene in Alan Wake 2 and all that kind of stuff, some of the stuff that we saw, Johnny, it looks like he had to go for a second. I think he had a technical issue. He's playing with his remote. But I'm just wondering if, like, the over-the-top stuff we saw in Alan Wake 2, which may have cost a ton of money to do, and is eclectic and unique, maybe bloats the cost enough that now you need these more sales and then you can't hit it. But Alan Wake 1 didn't do that, and Control didn't do it. So that's sort of unfair to say that because Alan Wake 2 did it, and it had lower sales than maybe they expected, I can't look at Control and say Control did that, because it didn't. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Alan Wake 1 had similar things, though.
You mean
right?
with like the Rock Band mini or the level?
Yeah, but not just that. Also, they're like just their DLC as well, like the Lighthouse and stuff.
True. Yeah, if you add in the DLC there, you are right. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, they had some crazy stuff, and a lot of voice acting, a lot of filming of voice actors. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right, man. It could just be that, dude. It could, and I don't know what they need to do. I don't know. I want them to sell well because think they do great games.
I mean, sadly, it's the dilemma that faces every single artist, right? It's the art you put out isn't necessarily economically viable, even though it might be amazing, great art that has integrity and is true to what you want to put out there.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been filtered through the mainstream entertainment machine.
Yeah.
To sort of distribute it to mass appeal. Which is what producers are for. That's what producers generally do.
And maybe there's a chance that they have hit the ceiling of fans who like these particular things. I don't think they have. I don't. I think there's a large number of people that would like those games. But it is also possible that if I do a game about a walrus who is a serial killer, I might only have a certain number of fans. It might be a cap, right?
I think
of
that
fan type. But I don't think that's what's going on here.
I think there's truth to that, but I think we also see with the sales numbers we see now, we see that being a niche game is no longer necessarily the detriment that it used to be.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's why I'm saying I just don't think I agree with you 100%. I don't think that's the issue.
But yeah, for whatever reason, Remedy just hasn't been able to sort of capture that niche space as much as other sort of niche products that have made it big,
right?
Have been able to.
Yeah. And they won Game of the Year, right? Didn't they win Game of the Year, or did they not?
I don't think they won the Keeley Game of the Year.
They won some stuff.
They probably won some Game of the Year award somewhere.
So
I would expect.
So once again, I've always been a believer that like when you win Game of the Year, it doesn't instantly mean extra sales. It can, but other things have to be. Oh, everything has to be in line, including is there another game out right then that's taking people's money? But with those guys, I do. I just think it's like Dark, the TV show. It's like it's like The Leftovers, the TV show. There certain games have a particularly dire vibe, and it takes a certain fan. So you're restricting a little bit on that, and you just keep restricting down. And I don't think they've restricted down to the point. I think they definitely have a sales issue, and I want to see them fix that. But I also don't think we should expect Resident Evil sales, if that makes sense. That's what I'm getting to. Is that Resident Evil is a more palatable B-level, goofy horror thing, and Alan Wake is goofy, but it's a different experience entirely, at least to me. I feel like, and Alan Wake loves to go super dark with like serial killers and shit. Oh, sorry.
I mean, to your point, mentioning Twin Peaks, Remedy is more David Lynch than they are Stephen King.
Absolutely. Even though Stephen King is sort of reminiscent in a lot of the stuff they do, their delivery is closer to a Twin Peaks.
He can definitely go out there, but he has that mass appeal.
Yeah.
That David Lynch didn't really have for all his virtues.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I mean, and then Control, this new game, it's definitely flitting quite close to a lot of other titles we've seen, and I just am not hearing near the anticipation for that one. And I don't know if that's it, if that makes sense. I don't know what's it for them, but I hope it does well. And it seems like it probably costs less. I'm just going to go out and say it. From what I've seen of it, it feels like and looks like a game that may have cost less. Look at the timeline.
It doesn't seem like as much of a prestige title.
Yeah. And then time-wise, each year costs a ton of money just to have people employed, So if you can shorten that, you can shorten it by a year, you save yourself a couple $100,000, and suddenly something becomes attainable quite quickly, attainable far more quickly when it comes to sales. So, yeah. Excited for it. I agree with what he's saying, and I agree with Silver. I think it'd be awesome to see it on everything, right? If you're gonna complain about sales, you need to be able to be sold and bought somewhere. Steam being one of the major ones. Go ahead. Sorry, John.
I was gonna say these games are kind of evergreen. Someone right now could revisit Alan Wake 1 and have a great time with that game.
Yeah.
And same goes for Control, right? If you haven't played these games. So I think the idea of maybe a show, if they kind of devote a lot of money into making something great that can pull in people similar to how the Witcher show did and stuff, you could bring in a whole host of people who never played your games and have a second, resurgence.
Alan Wake, the animated. I mean, do you do an Alan Wake anime on? I don't know how big the anime push is if it's not already a fairly heavy popular title. I don't know if we've really seen that yet. I think live action helps better, but I'd love it if Amazon took on Alan Wake for a season. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we've seen Castlevania and Daredevil. No, not Daredevil. Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
We've seen those do really well, and
but both of those
hugely
being action
push
anime
sales.
games. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm saying
right.
with Alan Wake, how do you do an animation
More of
that's
a direct line
horror-based? Yeah.
from the
it's
source
like
material.
slow and brooding. Where
I
you
think-
could do a show. You could do a show a little easier is all I was saying.
Yeah, not just. I mean, also just in terms of cost and production, like animation is so time consuming and cost consuming.
That too. Yeah, that too. Hadn't thought about that. Yeah. I do like the idea of, he's talking about transmedia. That's what he was discussing. He said, get it out there in other forms. I'm telling you straight up, comic books, I would love to see. I would read, I would check that out.
Comic books for sure. You could do that.
Yep. I mean, even if you're hitting, you never know when that one fan, and this is one of the reasons why when somebody will say, hey, should I post on Blue Sky or something? I'll be like, yeah, for sure. Because you never know when you'll hit a fan who has a bigger community and they mention it on a show or a podcast, or they, you look at, I mean, obviously they don't need this, but you look at Elden Ring and you see Post Malone talking about it, right? That obviously works for them, but I've seen smaller games get huge bumps by some random star. Sasha Grey was talking one time about some games that she likes. She's got a good following. It's important. You never know when a fan might, just come along and be like, hey, I would love to help this in whatever way I can. And or maybe they're a voice actor and they want to work in your game and they'd love, there's all kinds of reasons why networking is probably the most force multiplier when it comes to making a game or making anything really. And so the idea that they can do a show or a comic book, get more people, somebody, grab a hold of people.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I mean, a show, I would love to see a show. I don't know how you would do it, but I don't even know what it would be about, but I would watch a Alan Wake TV show for sure. Yeah, for sure.
It would have to be revolved around like Control and Alan Wake and that whole.
Yeah, the AWE
sort of
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'd be all for it. They have a lot of cool items in Control that you get to study and read about.
Yeah.
What if you do a Black Mirror, but instead you just do like each artifact?
I like an anthology show.
Anthology show. Yeah, like a Black Mirror where and they don't have to be super long. They could be like 30 minutes. I mean, if you just are doing the artifact, and then it overlaps with OCP. And if you do a good job, let people jump into it. Black Mirror,
you could do
not
that
Black
for
Mirror.
sure.
Netflix has they do that next level or whatever. And they were talking about, different companies they're going to talk to. Maybe
Amazon,
they've talked to these
one.
guys. Is that Amazon? Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What else do we got there, Johnny?
That's all I got today for
All right.
topics.
I have Space Marine 2 updates.
What do we got for Space Marine 2? Dos.
I don't know if we mentioned that they got a new class a couple of months ago, the Tech Marine.
Oh, damn. Okay. I didn't know that.
This month or like this week, I think maybe this week or last week, they got another update that was actually a huge one. Brought some new weapons. Also brought huge changes to Siege mode, which is the sort of defensive survival horde mode in that game, where now you can buy like turrets. You can buy like tech priests who will basically siphon currency off of you if you keep them alive. You can buy minefields. You can strengthen your guardsmen, and you also they also implemented this has been contentious, but they implemented the stratagem aspect of the game, where the game adds modifiers, so that you get a negative modifier, and then throughout your run you can then add positive modifiers as well. Every 5 waves you can add like a positive modifier, and then you'll also have one negative modifier. And those can be the negative modifiers can be really crippling. So those haven't been particularly popular. And the option isn't there to play without it either, so they're forced,
Gotcha.
which
Yeah.
also
Like,
hasn't been popular. They also sort of rejiggered how the mode scales in terms of difficulty, where now there's a timer for every round, where if you don't manage to finish the wave within that round, the wave will get beefed up and become enraged, and they will basically start gaining so much health that they seem nearly unkillable. Also hasn't been particularly popular. So there have definitely been issues with the latest patch, but there's a lot of changes, a lot of new stuff added into the game. So yeah, there's definitely still life in that game.
And they said for next year there's a new class coming as well.
I haven't heard that, but
Yeah.
that's
Another
very possible.
new class?
Another new
I would
one.
imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard speculations on Apothecary being one. That's the one everyone's
They haven't
talking
said
about.
which one it is, but yeah, for ages they've been. The community has been asking for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Man, there's been a
Yeah,
lot of
great
shit.
game, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, yeah, really good game. One of the
And
few
Techmarine
that
is a pretty fun class to play, I have to say.
Yeah, and I mean, even if like you're not somebody who goes in to just level up that new class or whatever, but just jumping into it for fun, it's just a generally really fun game, and it nails the Space Marine stuff. You know, well, Space Marine overall, I think most of their games have nailed it. Whatever they're doing, even if the game isn't good, I mean the atmosphere they've nailed. But for some reason, Space Marine 2 I really like. Just really fits it really well. They do a great job. There's still some idiosyncrasies to any of those kind of horde games, whether it be Control or as Silver said, like an adjustment that you're like, dude, this just seems completely unfair. But then you'll get another patch that'll make it completely easy, and you'll be like, oh, I've figured out the God mode.
Yeah, it's funny. They did actually. There's a bug with the Bulwark class in this latest patch, where one of his most powerful abilities is supposed to run like a 90-second cooldown, and now there's no cooldown on it at all. So basically, he has a skill where whenever he does like a perfect parry or block,
I'll be right back.
He will instantly incapacitate the enemy that does the attack, and that's supposed to be like a 90-minute cooldown or 90 seconds. Sorry, cooldown. Yeah. Not quite that
like
extreme.
An ultimate or something.
Yeah. No, not an ultimate, but like just like a regular skill that triggers automatically when you block or parry perfectly.
Oh,
and then then you incapacitate the enemy, and then now because there's no cooldown, any enemy you block, even like the more powerful extremis or like special enemies, they'll just instantly die or instantly go into executable state if you block them. That's the Bulwark.
So that's just broken, kind of?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah, it is, especially because you can then tie it into that skill also giving like AoE, so that if you do the block, not only will you incapacitate that enemy, but you'll incapacitate every enemy around you as well. And you'll do that like every block. So you just clear waves of enemies just by blocking.
Oh, wow.
World War Z got some patches too. Like, it's crazy. Their support for those games is great. And it should be. Those games continue to play. You know, people continue to enjoy them. But there are a lot of live service games now. You know, there's a lot of those. I mean, I don't even want to get into a live service discussion. I shouldn't even, because that's not really where I wanted to go with that. What I meant to say was there's a lot of these continuing games. You could still have this in a multiplayer game that just gave you your own stuff that you could do on your LAN or whatever. But it's like Hunt, Showdown, you know, like all these games. And it's crazy because especially as June has sort of doesn't have a ton of stuff, I've been noticing a lot of people like, I'm thinking about getting into Hunt Showdown. I'm thinking about getting into this. I'm thinking about getting into that.
Yeah.
And almost none of them overlap. Almost none of them have overlapped. Just crazy different older games. And you go and look and you'll see like 12,000 people playing. Everybody's their own ecosystem now. Everybody's their own community. Yeah. It's so crazy.
And these guys have several games they're keeping up, right? Several. Saber Interactive. Mm-hmm. They got World War Z, the recent one, the Romero
John
one.
Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
Carpenter. Yeah.
Yep. I enjoyed that one. It wasn't as good as like World War Z for sure, because it was. But there were some really good spots to it. They're all actually pretty passable. They're passable to good, depending on the cost that you want to put into them.
Maybe the execution wasn't quite there, but I love the idea of the vehicle playing around that.
I had a good time with the vehicle, for sure. Speaking of Warhammer, Bolt Gun 2 is really fun. Yeah, there's Bolt Gun 2's coming out, too. Damn. Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see. I'm really happy for June, man. I'm super happy. I was saying this, people didn't believe me, but I'm like, I'm really happy June is a little slower because
there are still,
there's still a ton,
chance to
but there isn't any of the giant, there's UFC is coming out, which might be giant in terms of like sports fans numbers and stuff. But when it comes to my stuff, I look at it and I'm like, this is sort of a dead time. And I feel like I need it. Because it's going to be crazy when everything starts up and we start getting everything's going to be GTA. Everything's going to be like all these new big games. So be nice to have a couple weeks. Won't be nice
even
for the
stuff
channel's
like
financials, but it'll be nice for everything else.
Hey, you want to dabble in Batman Lego maybe for a few days, as an example, or you want to play a bit more Forza, all these things like. It's good to have a bit of time.
Yeah, always nice. Let's see. What do I got? I got some questions here that we got from chats. Here's number one. Am I the only one who plans to spend my first GTA 6 session doing absolutely nothing productive and just seeing how long I can exist in a world before starting a mission? I hadn't thought about that. You mean just like turn it on and then it gives you a mission as long as it's not on a timer, just go off on your own and do your own shit? Yeah, that's probably what I will do. That's a good question.
Or do the GTA 5 thing and just stand in the street and see how long it takes for the civilians to start freaking out.
Do something.
And just attacking you just because you're standing there.
What's the weirdest thing that keeps pulling people back to Horizon games? Is it the cars, the map, or just the feeling about the game that always, or feeling that the game just always wants you to have fun? What's the thing that pulls you back to Horizon? I think it's the last thing. I mean, I think the maps are always genuinely good to great, but I do believe that the game just, there's always a skill jump. There's always a, there's always a star. There's always a foot longer on a jump you can do. And they're very easy to set up. And it doesn't restrict you. It doesn't like say, oh, you want to do this jump? We're going to load you into this spot. And then you're going to start here at a stop and you're going to hit the jump. Instead, the game's just like, there's a jump spot. Let's see who can hit it and do the weirdest shit before they hit that ramp to see if they can go faster than everybody else. So I think it is all about fun.
I think it's also for sure about accessibility. Because of the accessibility is such that you can take breaks of like a month or a couple of months or whatever, and then come back and play the game and not necessarily be that far off that you would be with a more strict like simulation racing game.
That's true. Looking at this is a good one. 40-year-old Smurf. Looking at where gaming is now, what would have absolutely blown your mind if someone showed it to you 20 years ago? 2006. I got an answer. I think in 2006, if I went back in time and showed them the price of games, I think my 2006 brain would have thought they would have been more expensive. That I think that in hardware in particular is way more expensive. I don't know what my brain would have thought about $1,000 Steam Deck or $800 Steam Deck either. But I think prices are still weird. A $60 game is still, the majority of games are still 60, even though they're definitely raising quickly. I think 20 years ago, I was under the impression they were going to start going up $10 a gen in general. But I can't really think of anything I was, I guess maybe, I don't know about you guys. Controllers haven't changed much, especially the stock controller you get in the with the console. I think maybe I would have assumed 3 buttons would be the norm, 3 and 3, like for a 6-button face. Maybe that's just my own desire for that, though. But is there anything that 20 years ago that we see now?
Yeah.
What is it?
There's so much.
Go for it.
I mean, the big one is Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
The current iteration of Flight Simulator.
Console?
On a console, but also just, I mean, for the graphics, but also just the graphics, the scale, the one-to-one scale, the fact that I can take off in the game from Copenhagen Airport, I can go up into the air and I can fly by the building I live in and see the exact apartment I live in.
Right.
Like from the sky as I fly by. Like that 20 years ago, that would completely blow my mind.
Yeah.
It blows my mind today still.
Me too. Yeah, it does. It's one of the few games that it is a game for sure, but it almost feels like it's not in a way. Just because of what it does and its pace and how it handles things. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for graphics, all of these incredible games. And maybe graphics haven't changed that much since, let's say, Cyberpunk or Horizon Forbidden West. It's not like the games we have today are an order of magnitude different than those. At some point we hit such a high bar that I would have already been amazed by Red Dead Redemption. Back in 2006, that kind of stuff. It continues to amaze me. I love it. I'm a suck. I love seeing the worlds people build and the atmosphere. We were playing First Light, the atmosphere crafted, and the craft is, I think, incredible. Something like AC Shadows and the mountainside you get to explore. It's so vast and you can really lose yourself in those things. That to me is magical. I love that stuff. And that's a big part of what I love about games is the continuous pushing the envelope, with different worlds. It's something exciting. Like this year, it's about space. We got a lot of space stuff. And I love it. I love that kind of journey we're all on, experimenting with different stuff.
It's crazy because when did GTA 5 come out? Remember the
13.
Year? 13, right? Okay. So 2006.
Wow.
I could show them a 2013 game and they'd probably still be like, what? How the hell?
Yeah.
And that's 2013, let alone Red Dead 2, 5 years later. I mean, dude, let alone, or show them Star Citizen in 2006 and be like, still not out. No, I'm just joking. But dude, that's crazy, man. It's like,
someone mentioned. Sorry, go on.
No, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was guess someone mentioned the Final Fantasy VII remakes. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good one. It does blow my mind that those were really extremely good, and at the time it was a running joke. Remember,
I remember.
I kept talking about that being in the works, and you guys were saying, it's not gonna happen, or we were all skeptical. It was gonna
come out.
No,
up until it finally, or that it would be good. I just didn't. Yeah, I just didn't think. But it is pretty crazy that when you look at the jump, I think 2006 to 2013 was massive. So obviously 2026 is even more so. But I do think that we definitely have seen an iteration on 2013 and GTA 5, but we haven't seen as many, I would say, big jumps, because once the technology and the consoles in particular became the same that's in PCs to the most part, we didn't see as many of those jumps. And I think Silver's right in saying that Flight Sim's probably, even though it may not be for everybody, I think Flight Sim is one of those games that it may never get what it's due. And its due is that game probably does more and special technical stuff at the very least than almost any game out. It is pretty crazy when you think about it. You can literally get out and walk around. They've got all kinds of different vehicles. They've got the ability for you to fly as a person just leaning back, having a good time, do missions, put out fires that are, real-time weather. And this is stuff we saw in the games in 2006 sometimes with internet connections. And you would, the heat is 98 degrees at this airport, but obviously not what we're seeing now. Just like real-time variable weathers that are filtered into the game. So I also don't know if a truck simulator would stun me, especially a truck simulator with like 5 states or 10 states in America or whatever. And you look at it going like, I would say maybe that might be my big answer actually, is the explosion of the simulator market, which I think died. I think I would have thought had already died and wouldn't come back. And the simulator,
it died right around there. I think around 2006, essentially.
And I think I would be stunned at just seeing the word simulator in front of so many things. I don't think my brain would understand what grocery store simulator was. I mean, it would, but it wouldn't. It would be like, how is that not shit? And it would for sure be shit, because you just, and we see some really crazy ones, drug dealer simulator, whatever. I'm sure the 2006 me would look at that and go, I mean, this is going to be some poorly handled, and some are, but I would say the majority are not, because they have a pretty good scaffolding for how they deliver those too. I mean, let's be honest. It's its own engine, really, when you think about it. That's why some of them do look alike. But House Flipper, I don't know if I would have thought Power Wash Simulator. Like if somebody showed me Power Simulator, I'd be, what the fuck is this? Because that kind of game definitely didn't come around in that eclectic, certainly not as well formed and thought out until that first one, and those games all built on each other. That's an entire genre that split from simulator into cozy simulator and then into like generic sim, just do whatever sim, police simulator, EMT simulator. I mean, vampire simulator. I'm saying that out loud. I don't know if it's a thing, but I would assume it's a thing, because they have Thief Simulator, which by the way is an amazing game. Thief 1 and 2, Simulators 1 and 2, great games.
For me, the other big one would be Total War Warhammer 3. Because in 2006, we had only really just gotten the Rome Total War, and the transition from the 2D sprites of Total War Medieval to the 3D models of Rome Total War. And I remember that being completely like mind-blowing at the time, that there were you could actually see like 3D models of horses crashing into the infantry. And then like showing off like Warhammer 3, where you have giants and dragons and giant dinosaurs, or dinosaurs riding giant dinosaurs, and like space lasers and magic spells and all this stuff flying around and mixing with each other. And on this massive scale, would completely break my mind back then.
It would probably break our mind, even though they had already started on their recovery tour. But I think just Warhammer itself as an IP recovering from many years of inadequacy and failed titles and buggy titles to where it is now would be pretty surprising to me. Even though in 2006 we had already had a couple games. But now to look at it and go like, holy shit, they have their own show.
Yeah, but nearly all the fantasy games back then were pretty rough.
Yeah, they were pretty rough. Definitely went super high. Yeah. What do we got in Discord for questions? Do we have any? Because I didn't ping out to anybody, so we may not even have.
Got
any.
A couple.
Oh, go for it. Look at that.
Okay. This one from Pillowcase. With the increase in Steam Deck prices, do we think the Steam frame is dead on arrival, considering the competition? Kind of talked about this. Is there anything you guys want to add, like Steam Machine, competition?
No,
I do believe though that there is a very high chance that they rose that price so that when the next one comes around, the sticker shock isn't there.
I think so.
That fits.
Normalizing it.
Yeah, normalize it. Yeah.
This one from Orzov OG. Missed the last few podcasts, so I don't know if you guys spoke about this already. Have you guys played, or are you going to play Zero Parades? And looks like it's, he says, looks like it's being received well. And thoughts on the Middle Earth game coming from Warhorse. Hard to not be hyped about that one. Okay, Zero
That one
Parade.
confirmed?
That is confirmed. Yeah. Now.
It is confirmed. Yep.
Now. Zero
So I guess the
Parade
first one
got really good reviews. People seem to love it. It looks awesome. If there's a lot of stuff with all the creators being everywhere. There's at least 2 Kickstarters with some of the creators there. There's their game, which some of the creators are there, but maybe not the top creators. But the game turned out to be amazing. People seem to love it. So, such is life on that. I want to play it. I played a tiny bit of it, but didn't get to dive in. Every single review seems to like it a great deal. Like, genuinely, really, really like it. In a different way than Disco Elysium. It hits a different vibe, but still has some of the same thought processes. So I'm excited. That's surprising for sure. Not what I expected. I don't know what I expected. I expected either not come out or not come out this soon. I feel like it was just a couple weeks ago when they were, arguing over who owned IPs and stuff. So.
Yeah. We were talking about the low time.
Flies.
Good time to jump into that. Check it out.
Yeah. And then what was the other?
Yeah, I probably will get it at some point. Yeah.
Get it? Yeah. And then what about Lord of the Rings? Yeah. I mean, it is a game. I'm not any more excited that they're making it than any other developer in the world, though. I will say that.
No, me neither.
Does that make sense? I don't know
why.
I don't know why there would be extra excitement they're making it, but maybe that's because I don't know what they're making, so I just need more time to see. They make good games, but
right. I think people are imagining like, can I take KCD2 and plug in Legolas?
Give it a Middle Earth makeover.
And Aragorn. Yeah.
I hope not. I hope.
Yeah, I definitely hope not either.
I hope not. The ends of the.
I don't
earth,
think the format. I don't think the format of Kingdom Come Deliverance fits into Middle Earth at all.
I mean, I hope not, man.
Tangentially, because it's medieval, but it's so different.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Medieval is like the only overlay I would want. I mean, I guess it depends on who you are too. I mean, you could also be a nobody. I don't know, because Tolkien is so lean when it comes to the normal man.
Very much really,
so. And Middle Earth isn't really so much. Isn't really medieval. It has swords and armor.
Right.
It's not really like medieval.
It's fantasy. It's epic fantasy. It's
very fantasy. I mean, and even when you look at like how things work, nothing would work in those nations when it comes to even feeding one another and getting food or clothing to people, because that's not what it was about. The
logistics.
Yeah, the logistics which are built into the medieval stuff, and how they put. And so I just need to see it more. It's not a negative as much as it is I have no clue. But
it's an interesting point that with Tolkien, everybody is a major hero.
Yeah, they don't even the people that they are like, he's not a major hero. He is really because of willpower
exactly like Pippin.
You just don't get to see the generic guy very much.
One of the greatest heroes is the Hobbit farmer. I forget his name, or he might actually be a human farmer. I forget, but the one who tells the Nazgul to get off his yard. His yard.
Get out.
His lawn.
Some balls right there. Yeah. Yeah.
What else we got for questions?
The last one from Redemption. What is your opinion on clearly dishonest clickbait and not highlighting it till after you hit the ad revenue threshold in your videos? Is that just part of the game, or is it a bit too unethical? Asked because I saw an MMO channel that covers dead games try to throw in a 30-minute video on Monster Hunter Wilds when it's well documented that the game is not only not dead, but getting hundreds of hours of content very soon.
That is weird.
It is weird. Yeah.
Yeah. That is weird. I feel like I don't know. I think that it's just sort of status quo for people.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, that is just. I thought that was going another way with the sort of easy to describe, like, do you have your 30-second commercial because you know that if you have a 30-second commercial, you'll automatically get more views. So a lot of people are going like 28 seconds exactly on purpose.
Oh yeah, they're gaming the length.
Yeah, you're gaming the retention for the first 30 seconds. There's a problem with 30-second retention, that a lot of people drop off. Oh. And so YouTube was like, okay, the only videos we'll push are ones that get retention past 30 seconds. So then everybody was like, okay, we'll put a commercial in there, but we'll still have a clickbait article. And if you click to the end of a commercial, or you let it run for a little bit of time and then click to the end of, even if it's a burned-in commercial, you're still indicating engagement. So you get engagement by fooling somebody into the ogre choice, die quick or die slow. Die slow means you let the entire ad run for 30 seconds, which is engagement. Die quickly is where you click it and you go forward, which then indicates to YouTube you want to watch the video, which is engagement. So once
win-win.
Yeah, win-win, which is why, if you notice, we've definitely started to see reviews. You'll start to see you'll see very few comments, or a lower number of comments than you would normally see, and maybe even a lower number of thumbs up, because the engagement is already burned out of the person by clicking past an ad. Because the human brain is like, I've already clicked, no thumbs up. And we've talked about this in our Discord. People are like, dude, I've watched a ton of your videos, I love them. I forget to click up and click thumbs up. And I'm like, yeah, if I don't say anything, you will. It's just, that's the name of the game. That's how it works. But it's very easy to set up, and there's some people who are really good at it, where, like, I'll watch it and be like, this is absolutely somebody who has a marketing person or whatever, and has been like, how do I make sure? It doesn't matter how good the content is. It matters if you can get them past that 30 seconds, and by clicking on it, you've already indicated, I care enough about this video to click past the ad, which is a big indicator, even though it's really not, because they all have ads now. But before that, it was a big indicator. So, and we'll get a switch. The moment everybody starts doing that and that gets boiled in, algorithm will figure something out, or YouTube will do something. But what you're talking about that's just a lie. This game is dead.
Yeah.
But then I can't say I know what the person was thinking. Maybe they didn't know there was 100 hours of content coming. But then you'd be like, well, that was a poorly researched video.
It's also just a very, very popular YouTube byline.
It's a very popular YouTube byline,
yeah. Like, this is dead, or, we always talk about this is the X killer.
Yeah, this is the X killer
kind of thing.
The amount of times I've seen Helldivers 2 is dead over the last 2 years, on,
it's very much alive
in YouTube channels.
Yeah, it's always been weird like that. I've never quite understood why. It's just the way it goes. But, well, we wrap it up now. I don't really have anything else. It's a short one, but I don't have any discussion bits or anything.
Have you guys seen any good shows, movies, or like read books? Anything interesting media-wise?
I have a graphic novel, if you give me a sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Grab it. He's like, bye.
See ya.
Yeah, I don't really have, like, Will Trent I've been watching. I already told you about that one. I told you about something, too. Oh, Almost Human. But there was one I DM'd you about Friday night. And I was like,
are you rewatching?
Add this to your list.
Almost Human?
I did. I rewatched it twice in one fucking day. We rewatched.
It's so good.
Yeah. Fatal. Is that what is that? Cthulhu?
No, it's film noir.
Oh, gotcha.
But it does like evoke Cthulhu for sure. With the
some tentacles there, no?
Yeah, I saw some tentacles.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. I like the style. Yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah,
cool.
femme fatales. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a really solid book.
I haven't even been. I've been reading very tentatively too. There hasn't been a bunch I've been reading. Like it's been a quiet time for my brain lately. What about you, Johnny? Have you been reading or watching anything?
Yeah, I started watching Euphoria after a lot of people recommended that. It's a bit it's a bit mixed for me because I don't enjoy like drug use too much. Even Breaking Bad was kind of rough for me to watch at times
Right.
because I don't do drugs. I don't find it like fun when someone is just out of their rocker kind of thing. But I have to admit it's a pretty good drama and like with some good characters and stuff. So I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah. For me, I think some of the episodes of the first 2 seasons are some of the best television I've ever seen, probably. In particular, like the special episodes that are basically just characters sitting down talking.
Okay,
Those two episodes, I feel like, are amazingly written and amazingly executed. Like that, I think the first 2 seasons of Euphoria are really, really strong character pieces. Unfortunately, I have seen bits of the first season, and for me, the first season really, really falls apart.
That's what I heard
particularly
too.
the characterization.
Of what show?
Yeah.
Euphoria.
Oh, still Euphoria.
The HBO
Okay,
show.
just making sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. Haven't watched. I watched this all of season 1 of that, and that was enough. I mean, I didn't even dislike it. It just didn't grab me. One of those shows where sometimes you'd be like, give it a little bit of an attempt, and then I watched The Burrows, which is like Stranger Things for old people. Really enjoyed that. It's got the guy who played Alfred Molina, the guy who played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, and
Nice.
Gina Davis and a bunch of she's old. She's 70, which I can't believe, but she's in there. And yeah, it's Stranger Things for old people. Stranger Things instead of kids on bikes, it's old people in wheelchairs. And it works tremendously well as a fun show. Was it the greatest thing ever? No, but it was a very fast 8 episodes or 10 episodes or whatever. I mean, because I've watched
Molina's also one of those people who always elevates whatever he's in.
I believe so as well. And I believe he did that here. I believe, weirdly enough, though I've loved her in many things, I don't know if anybody's ever said that about Gina Davis, but she did a tremendous job in this. They did a good job having.
She has been in some really solid films. I really liked her in A League of Her Own.
Yeah, Bill Pullman, the president from Independence Day, is in it. He did a great job. He might be my favorite character in the show. But yeah, great. I mean, basically, it really is Stranger Things, but for old people. And if they end up doing a second or third season, I will definitely sit down to watch that because what was going on kept me interested. Then we got From coming soon, which I'm interested in. I mean, we've extended these shows though to 2 years minimum for each season. It's killing my soul.
Yeah, it's rough to keep up.
I think you and I talked about this last week. I'm sorry, but it's such a ploy. I feel like, I think we talked about it. If we didn't, I was in voice chat, but I think it was you and I where I was like, dude, it feels like it's a ploy to get you to jump back in and rewatch season 1.
For sure. Yeah. Maybe not on purpose, but that's a happy
Well, maybe it didn't
byproduct.
start on purpose. Maybe it really had a reason, but every single show that I've watched at least is going to a 2-year program. And it's like, what a smart way to get you to engage again with their channel, with their Netflix, is to rewatch Stranger Things season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, because 6 took 2 years. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it's definitely on purpose. And so many are doing it, man. So many are doing it to the point to where I don't even remember something's coming out. Also, when they come out. I was watching the Jack Ryan stuff with the guy from The Office, John Krasinski or whatever. And it was episodic, and then it just sort of went away and then came back, and randomly I woke up one day and there was a made for sort of a mini series, but it's like got its own name, it's its own thing kind of stuff. It's just like, dude, it feels like there's no PR for this. Feels like it's just, I mean, maybe maybe streaming services PR is on their own device. And so therefore, if I'm not, and I don't have the device up, I don't really search through Netflix ever. I know what I want to watch. I don't ever, does that make sense? I don't surf. I don't know about you guys. I don't surf Amazon or Netflix or Hulu or Paramount. I know what I want to watch. So I just go do the search. So maybe I don't see their ads for that reason, but I don't know. Also, Thelma and Louise and Earth Girls are easy, Sotnist says about Gina Davis.
I've been, yeah, Thelma and Louise is another one for sure. I've also been rewatching shorts of Shaun the Sheep, actually, in anticipation of the movie coming out later this year.
What? Shaun the Sheep?
British stop motion clay with that takes place on like a British farm with no dialogue, with a sheep.
No dialogue.
It's basically sort of an offshoot of Wallace and Gromit.
That's what. Okay, I knew I was thinking of something
that featured Shaun the Sheep, and then Shaun the Sheep sort of became his own character with his own show.
Oh, gotcha.
Set on a farm. Really, really fun little 5-minute sort of vignette episodes.
Sweet.
They're amazingly well done in stop motion. The first movie, they did make one movie, no dialogue in it. It's an amazingly fun film, and the second movie is coming out. Actually, they're made. I'm unsure now if they actually do have 2 movies already. How many there are, but there is one coming out this year as well.
I'm trying to think if there's been anything else, man.
Oh, did you see that Nicolas Cage
Spider-Man
noir show, like the Spider-Man noir one?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. But
I only saw the first episode. I thought it was interesting. They give you the options, like you can watch it in black and white.
you pretty much have to.
You're pretty pro on stuff. Does it was interesting mean that it really wasn't great?
I just don't know where it's gonna go. It's kind of weird in a way.
Yeah,
it's like Nicolas Cage is in there.
Good noir should be a little weird.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it should be. I like the start. I just don't know where it's gonna go. I have no idea. But
is he over the top? Cage?
No. He's kind of it fits. It feels like a noir type narrative. It's not like a parody or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that. I mean, it's
that's pretty
crazy.
odd.
It's crazy it got made. It's crazy it got made. I'll say that much, because it's just not something I would have ever expected. And he was almost Superman, and then people rethought it for whatever reason, and I'm sort of happy they did, because I'm sorry, but that's just weird. But it feels like he's always wanted to do one, and here we are. We're getting one done. So, yeah, and good on him. Yeah, but no, I haven't seen it. I've seen the commercials.
I've always liked that version of Spider-Man, the noir one. It always looked cool.
Does it hedge more towards Sin City? Is that sort of what it's trying to be? Because if it is, and it's that kind of weird over the top where everybody looks weird, then it makes sense that he looks weird.
No, it's much more grounded and down to earth than that. Yeah.
Hey,
it's like Sin City, but without the colored elements.
Yeah, right.
And the crazy.
Did you watch it in color or black and white?
I'm watching it in black and white.
Yeah.
And both are fine, but
color all.
I'm giving it a try.
Sorry.
Never.
I know a lot of people are like, I'll only watch it in black and white. I'm like, hey, you do you, but fucking no.
I am not like the kind of guy that would go to vintage movies in black and white and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah, you fellas are Philistines. That's all I have to say.
I really admit I absolutely 100% am. When it comes, dude, listen, if it was in black and white, I'll watch it. But I don't know. It's some games have black and white filters as well, and I'll try them.
It already looks quite.
It looks
fitting
dated in
color.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They make it look good even in color. Yeah.
Let's see what else. Man, there hasn't been. It's been a rough and tumble couple weeks, but there hasn't been any time to really read.
Yeah.
I've
been reading.
It's crazy.
I don't know if I ever talked to you guys about this. Joe Abercrombie, British writer. He writes kind of like gritty, epic fantasy, kind of grounded epic,
He's
but like gritty style.
Creator, I think, isn't he?
He did like The Blade itself, I think was the name of the original big trilogy.
For some reason, I thought he was the Last Kingdom writer. Yeah.
Not that one, but yeah, kind of like a Game of Thrones, I guess, but more gritty. And some great characters. I really think he does some of the best, like, fun characters. And yeah, just some great stuff there. That was the original trilogy many years ago that I enjoyed. But now he's got a new trilogy that's called The Age of Madness. So I'm almost done with the first book. It's called A Little Hatred. Little. And what's cool is that it takes place in that same world from the first trilogy. You don't have to have read it. But if you did, you'll find many characters that now have like children who are now the protagonists.
Yeah.
So you kind of see like generation 2 of that in a way. And that's been really, really fun. Yeah. Again, some great character work.
Fire Emblem all over again.
Yep.
Right.
It's Fire Emblem all the way down. Yeah, no, I haven't. I've got a bunch of his books, but and I've read them, but I just don't remember anything about them. I don't remember even the name. I mean, the names of the books. I think I probably read the first 3.
I'm sure you read at some point.
It's like
I've read out of curiosity.
Wizard's First Law, I think is what it's called, by Terry Goodkind. Right, Terry Goodkind. He's got like 9 books in that series, and I've read every one of them.
Oh, it was called the First Law trilogy.
Yeah, I've read that. I've read that trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah. So The Blade itself was the first book in that. Yeah. I'm sure you have read it. It's many years ago.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and I think I did read it like when it first came out, stuff like that. It definitely, for books, for me, if that's how I know I probably was into it, but maybe it didn't have something to make it burn in, because I wouldn't have read it if it didn't. I'm not somebody who needs to read something all the way through to go, this is shit, because reading is weirdly enough very personal, not personal, but almost personal is a good word. It's more personal than a show or music or anything. So it's very important to me. And if I'm reading and that book isn't doing something, then that book is fucking gone. Doesn't matter if they're my favorite.
You're okay dropping books.
I've dropped my favorite authors before, where I'm like, you're out, I think it all spurns from Tolkien, in fact. I think it's all PTSD from trying to read that Silmarillion fucking piece of shit.
Silmarillion.
Yeah, when I was 9. Tough read when you're 9 too, and you find it on your mom's bookshelf, because I had read through all of her books, and I was like, I read Yancey Yarbo, the fucking Saint Germain series, all this stuff. I was like, oh, these are great. Pick that thing up. She was like, yeah, it's fantasy, blah blah blah. It's like, and I don't think I had read Lord of the Rings yet. And man,
I listened to the audiobooks.
That was child abuse for sure. Like,
oh yeah.
I could definitely sue my parents. What you read? You listened to the audiobooks for what?
And Golfin didn't resonate with you at 9?
Nothing resonated with me at 9. None of that shit did. Anyway, sorry, Johnny. What?
The audiobooks. Andy Serkis did a reading of the trilogy.
That's pretty good with Andy Serkis,
because he's great. He does some singing. Because there's a lot of, surprisingly, I didn't know there's a lot of singing.
Yeah, there's a lot of singing.
Oh yeah,
a lot of singing, bro.
Yeah,
and he does it.
A big deal.
That's one of the reasons they cut Tom Bombadil.
And honestly, I gotta say, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. I don't feel like I missed. I know he's a cool character. Now having listened to it, but I don't feel like the singing. I don't miss it in the movies. Put it that way. I'm happy with that decision.
No,
whoever made
as a lover of language, you have to figure out that like he was going to get those in, because whether it be the poetry, even the magic,
it's very much the poetry.
It's very much and the song marching songs that they did. There was a lot of stuff that didn't get in the movies that if you like language as much as him and you read it, you would maybe appreciate.
Yeah, it's crazy what he built.
And I appreciate language, but even when I'm reading it, I'm like, it's also just old in its crunchiness anyway, so it didn't resonate as much with me either. But I appreciate that it was done, and I appreciate that the movies didn't do it. I think the movies did a fairly good job of making those edible, because really, in all honesty, they're not super edible. I did watch the cartoon as well, which the animation.
Right back to you.
Yeah. I mean, dude, there were parts that I liked, but it was above my head maybe as a cartoon.
Did you ever watch his Cool World?
Oh, I own Cool
With
World. Brad Pitt. Or Gabriel Byrne.
Brad Pitt was it? Yeah.
It wasn't Brad Pitt. It was Cool World. It was Gabriel Byrne. Oh, no, you're right. Wait a minute. Yeah. No, Cool World had Brad Pitt in it as the police detective, didn't it? Because it was
Dude, I think it did.
Yeah. Yes, it had both.
Yeah.
He was the detective and Byrne was the animator.
Yeah. And but
yeah,
Gabriel
that's
Byrne,
old as hell, man.
That's how I found out who Gabriel Byrne was. And then I found out he was like the devil in fucking Seventh Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which, by the way, not the greatest movie. But it didn't matter. If Gabriel Byrne was in it, I watched it from that point on. I don't know what it is about him, but he became Three Musketeers with him and John Malkovich and
Charlie Sheen.
Is that the right one? Or was it Man in the Iron Mask? Man in the Iron Mask. He's in Man in the Iron Mask. John Malkovich.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Leonardo, right? DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Gabriel Byrne I don't know. So I have no clue what it was with Cool World, but yeah, I loved the way they did it. It was like a more adult version of Roger Rabbit, even though Roger Rabbit was really adult.
It's also great in the Coen Brothers' Miller's Crossing, one of my favorite of theirs.
Haven't seen him in Miller's Crossing, but Coen Brothers, I have issues. Their stuff is give and take, so maybe
it's not for everyone.
Yeah. But Gabriel Byrne is for everybody. Like that guy, dude. Yeah, I love him, and he got me to watch Usual Suspects, which I wasn't interested. Maybe what's his name? Benicio is in it.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro. Yeah,
he can get me to watch pretty much anything because I never quite know what.
Yeah, he's usually very sort of off kilter.
He's off kilter. Yeah. Been and always enjoyable, even if you're just like what. But yeah, dude, Gabriel Byrne.
Kevin Spacey was great in those, like in that era of movies.
Yeah, I mean, all the guys in Usual Suspects were actually really good. That movie was before my time of like watching that kind of stuff, but I definitely had friends introduce me to it, and I really did think it was an awesome ending. I really liked the way it all rolled together. It was just like, oh shit. It was great. I wish Gabriel Byrne became more popular in the way that like a Anthony Hopkins did.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Or Gary
Big
Oldman.
names.
Yeah. I love Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman's
he was always old, wasn't he? As the name indicates.
Except for The Professional. He was old in everything. The Professional is the only time I've seen Gary Oldman really look... Well, he was in True Romance. Was he not in True Romance? As the drunk with the glass eye?
Yeah, I think he was.
I think he was. Because it was the other guy that I like, Tim Roth.
Yep.
I thought it was... Man, there's so many of those older weird movies that are like running together, but I feel like they were in that as well. But anyway, I love all those actors. Tim Roth, Gary Oldman, Gabriel Byrne. I love those guys. And what's weird is they're not of my time frame. Because like by the time I found out who Tim Roth was, he was probably in his 40s doing Rob Roy. He was the bad guy in Rob Roy, and I was like, this is my favorite guy in the world.
I think I only ever saw him.
He got
in the show. Lie to
in
Me.
That movie. Yeah, and then Lie to Me.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the greatest sword fights in movie history. I think
it is absolutely one of the greatest. And people used to always be like, "Hey, you want to watch Braveheart? Or you want to watch Rob Roy?" And I'd be like, "Dude, why are you asking? Braveheart's fine. Rob Roy as a movie. I mean, Braveheart I really enjoyed, but something about Rob Roy, like the guy tasting the horse shit to trade, and they're all dirty. It's just so much better.
Also, just Tim Roth like plays that like totally
Womanizing-
effeminate dandy,
Yes.
but so dangerous, you know?
It's so true. And a womanizing piece of shit. And the stuff he says to the girl that he gets pregnant. And then at the very end, I don't know why I didn't realize he was wearing a wig. So he gets to the end and he pulls that wig off and he's got that super short militant hair.
Yeah.
And he goes
The cropped
serious.
hair, yeah.
He gets serious suddenly. And I was like, what just fucking happened, man? Oh, dude, I love it. I love it. Yeah, such a great movie. What are people talking about Fifth Element suddenly in here?
Yeah, because of Gary Oldman, I would imagine.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he in that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the main villain. Yeah, in that one.
Not Baptiste. What was his name?
Oh.
Emmanuel. No, yeah, it wasn't him. I can't remember what his name is, but he's the mercenary who sells guns to people and then ends up being like the ultimate.
It's
bad
funny
guy.
you mentioned that professional because of how many people love his performance in that, when it's really just Gary going, "Oh, I'm just gonna take it all the way up to the ninth degree," and then like Luke will tell me to tone it down, but Luke never told him to like bring it down. So it's just going completely ham all the time.
I think the reason why it worked is because John, what's his name? The other actor,
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno. He has a tendency in that to just be so flat that it works greatly. That the killer is nothing, just like no whatever until the end.
Like he's in an opera constantly.
Like, yeah, there's something very weird. And then you get
he's very operatic.
Gary Oldman when he's like, everybody, everyone. And you're like, dude, that is so. But as somebody who's been around people who are on high intense drugs, this kind of situation is real, where somebody's reaction to something can be so overtly out of control that you're like, what is going on? And so I just got this idea of him coked out of his mind and being a homicidal killer, just being a piece of shit, but also a cop, and him turning around when he screams that, I was just like, damn.
It's just too bad with all the off-camera stuff with that film that I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. There's all kinds of stuff with that one. Oh, I even loved Gary in Lost in Space. Dude, Gary's amazing as in Hogwarts as
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, the weird teacher.
Sirius.
Forgot it.
Sirius. Yeah. Turns out to be
He's not he's not teacher. He's the stepfather.
Yeah. Uncle.
Yeah, foster
stepfather.
No,
Godfather.
Yes, Godfather.
Yeah. Sirius Black.
Dude, I was so Harry Potter doesn't make me cry, like I was never bothered, like when Robert Patterson died and he's like, "That's my boy." And they go running down because he's got his killed, and I was like, I don't give a shit. But when Gary Oldman died, I was like, fuck, man. Because he was the only guy who was older, who like took multiple people took Harry under their wing, but they always had. There was something about him that it just.
Remus did as well.
That's what I meant.
His friend, the werewolf. Yeah,
the werewolf. Yeah, but I guess that was the thing. Is like he had this uncontrollability that, like, they were like, he's also a monster, and instead you just get this guy who's noble, who's like. And I remember really going like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Because you thought he was, because he keeps showing up. And so you're like, oh, he's the bad guy. He's going to kill Harry.
Yeah, they frame him to be the bad guy, yeah.
And you see it, and you're just like, oh, my God, he's not going to kill him. He's like, finally, Harry can, like, shit can get not back to normal, but whatever. And then you just sort of know whenever a show like that introduces somebody, that person's probably going to die. I mean, especially anything in its third, fourth, fifth. Episode, you're like, yeah, if they weren't there at the starting, it's probably no chance.
Hello, Chekhov's foster parent. Yeah. Or
just,
godparent. Yeah.
Okay, we can kill this guy. You just look down a list. You're like, foster parent. Well, for sure, dying. Godfather. Yep, they can go.
Yeah.
Ronan is badass. I like Ronan a lot too, even though he's not the lead. I don't know who they're talking about. Ronan.
It's a film with Stellan Skarsgård and Robert De Niro.
I thought you meant the Robert
I think.
Oh, is that what they're talking about? Ronan, I like Ronan more than Heat, and a lot of people get on me for that. Dude, Ronan had a really good car chase. I love what's her name who's in it. Chick from Californication. She's the Irish, like, I guess terrorist, I guess. who becomes his love interest in it. I really did like that. Who's the main bad guy? He was also
I
in
remember
Bond.
nothing about that movie, to be
Okay.
honest.
Do you remember the stealth boat
Outside
Bond
of parts
movie?
of the cast.
Do you remember the stealth boat with Terry Hatcher as the wife?
That's Tomorrow Never Dies, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's got the Asian martial
With
artist lady.
Jonathan Price as
He's the main bad guy.
bad
Jonathan
guy or
Price
whatever,
is the
yeah.
bad guy in Ronin. And this is going to sound weird. When you find out he is sort of the main bad guy, it ruined everything for me. He's only in it for a very small amount of time. He's like the main drop-off. Because Ronin likes to go out of its way to tell you nothing. It's all about the people who do the work not knowing anything about what they're doing. And I think that did lose a lot of people. But I did like it. I liked Ronin. I thought it was good. Let's see. He was also 3 characters in the CG animated Christmas Carol alongside Jim Carrey. I didn't even know there was a CGI animated Christmas Carol.
Yeah, Robert Zemeckis did the almost a live action, like one of his animated films.
Did you find something new every day, man? Yeah, I didn't know that. The last Christmas...
not better than the Muppet version, though. Gotta say.
Oh no, we're gonna get into that discussion.
You're biased. You're Muppet biased.
Yes.
He's Muppetist. He's a Muppetist.
Also, Michael Caine is just a better Scrooge than Jim Carrey. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I can accept that.
I believe that. Yeah. Michael Caine's awesome. Michael Caine was awesome, right? Because he died too, right? Or is he still alive?
Oh,
He's
yeah,
still alive.
True.
He's just getting up there.
No.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's
Okay.
still...
Okay.
Everybody's dying on me, man. It's been a rough.
Michael
couple
Caine's
years.
still alive.
Still alive. All right. Well, that'll be it for us. Going to wrap this thing up. I want to say thanks to everybody who showed up and took time out of their day. If you get a chance, check out the Discord. Come on in, hop in, hang out with us. We always do fun. We always do games. We always do good times. We sometimes talk about stuff that matters, but not going to lie. Many times we don't. Many times none of the shit we talk about matters. But there's some inside baseball in there. If you guys want some inside scoop on games, leaks, rumors, that's the place to go. Johnny, what are you streaming on Saturday?
I think it's gonna be some First Light and League combo.
First night League.
Tomorrow, Johnny plays live on Twitch.
And Silver is Silver Hawkins on YouTube. Yep, I gave it out. Deal with it, Silver. What's the what are you doing? Your Horizon Zero Dawn Ultra Hard No HUD.
No, Forbidden West. Yeah.
Forbidden West Ultra Hard No HUD. Is that right? Okay, cool.
Yes.
And from me, I'm working on some videos. Going to try to get something out this coming week. But yeah, it's going to be a weird. I will say this: it's going to be a weird June. So I'm going to try to make some videos, but I'm going to try to get some games to cover. Maybe a lean one. We'll just have to see. Anyway, that'll be it for us. Thank you. Thanks to these guys. I hope you all have an excellent rest of your week.
Please take
Bye-bye.
care.
Take care of yourself.